My only two blind spots are reality television and Donald Trump, which are arguably the two cornerstones of America.
I was going to say, and guess where he comes from, bro? Like, I mean... Jackpocket, America's #1 lottery app.
Jackpocket.
Over $540 million in prizes have been given out to lucky winners through the Jackpocket app. Everything you do in your life now is on your phone. Why not buy your lottery tickets? I can't believe it took this long for it to even be a thing, but Jackpocket stepped up with some goddamn common sense and said, we're just going to let you buy lottery tickets on your phone because it's 2024 and not like 1975 where you need to go buy a piece of paper. That was crazy. And you had to go to a gas station or a bodega or something to buy a piece of paper to join the lottery. Are you kidding me? Nope, it's all on your phone right now. All you got to do is open up the Jackpocket app. You can fill up. I put like $50 on mine, and so I can just keep buying $2 tickets, or can buy 10 at a time, or however I want to do it. Right now I got $25 left. We've got $334 million in Mega Millions. We've got $75 million in Powerball. So we're going to go to the Mega Millions. Yet again, KFC Radio team fails to win.
Should we let them pick for us this time?
The audience?
No. Like.
Pick your own number. Just do a quick pick?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to do a $2 quick pick and place order. And that's it. It's done. That is crazy how easy that is. That is nuts. Let me see what my numbers are. You can do pools. You can do all sorts of different shit. So right now, our Mega Millions our number is 7, 28, 43, 51, 67, and Mega Millions number 3. I feel good about that Mega Millions number.
Number 3?
3, yeah. 7, 28, 43, 51, 67, 3. Don't use that ticket because I don't want to split it with you. That's the fucking winner right there. So it's literally the easiest process possible to be entered into a $330 million pot. So if you like winning money for basically little work, Jackpocket's for you. And if you want to do it right now for free, you can use promo code KFC. So you can get in, if it's your first time, you can get in a $334 million Mega Millions prize for $0. All you got to do is download the Jackpocket app today and use code KFC to get your first ticket for free. Jackpocket, America's #1 lottery app and official partner of Barstool Sports. Good to go?
Slow mic checks, and we're good. Check.
What?
Like,
oh yeah,
it's like you do it on purpose almost. Like you're just still as you talk doing
I haven't
it.
spilled.
But you're so close every time. It's like you're just like living on the edge.
But I need to maximize the amount of caffeine in the cups. Like it's the cups problem, not mine. It's like I hit 12. If I hit 10 on the coffee maker, 10 ounces, less caffeine. If I hit 12, we're maximizing the amount of caffeine.
I'm not blaming you for wanting a full cup of coffee. I'm blaming you for like throwing it around when it's in your hands. Like just take a gulp of it or put a top on it.
I bet it can't because it's hot.
Put it down then.
How about you worry about your...
That's right. Leave people alone. Leave people and their pets and their coffee alone. You know? Yeah. Bro, when we recorded Peanut, I did not know how politicized it had gotten.
Dude, I thought I was a MAGA guy.
I was going to say, I think in my caption, I said, like, full disclosure, we recorded this before we knew how politicized it got. And we're so dumb that we got it wrong.
Yeah. I was defending the cops. I thought I was a MAGA guy.
That's what makes no sense. That since when were the Democrats pro-police force?
I don't think...
That's what made no sense to me. I think it was more that the Republicans jumped on it, so then it just becomes, well, we hate it, you know? Like, yeah. I don't think there were Democrats out there being like, kill the fucking... But they were just like, if Donald Trump likes something, fuck that.
It's actually my only regret about Peanut is that we can't kill it again. Dude, I was saying yesterday that I think my favorite part of that is that I believe, if I remember the show order correctly, the lead into that topic was ending of Trump Epstein, where you were like, and this is what I mean, like, people just don't really care. They just want to argue about stories. So anyway, what about Peanut? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me about this?
But you know what I would love to know? I mean, now, so the dust is settled. Like, fucking dude rolled. She got smoked, not only in the presidential election, in every election, red wave everywhere. I would love, there's no way to measure it really, but it's like, what really mattered at the end of the day. I would love to just like if I could magic crystal ball ATI type question. It's like because it's obviously when people were worried about Tony Hinchcliffe that didn't do a fucking thing. We thought that the assassination was going to be a big deal. Then we didn't think of it. Maybe at the end it was. Maybe or does none of that matter? And it's all like deep rooted issues that have been bubbling for the last several decades. And it was. I tend to believe it was just the perfect storm of like this one in a lifetime type character, for better or worse. Like there's nobody ever like him, and a whole bunch of people across the country who do not like the other side, and no matter what happens with him, they are not going that direction. They feel like they've never been heard, and they all that shit. I feel like it's a deeply entrenched issue. But I would love to know if some of those silly things or pop culture things or what really mattered and what didn't.
It's arguably probably the most wrong I've been since the 2013 Bruins. I think the 2013 Bruins. I was like, these guys are gonna fucking roll to the cup. They made it to the cup and lost, but
that's not as bad.
Yeah, but like
I thought you were gonna say they were like
no, because they swept
they
swept the Penguins in like the Eastern Conference Championship. I was like, this is gonna be a fucking bloodbath.
Because I'll tell you things like there were times where I was like, the 2003 Mets are gonna be unbelievable.
Yeah,
Jeremy Burnett's and Mo Vaughn, and we won like 60 games. So I've been wrong. But.
I was like, I don't even think it's going to be close. Dude, I was saying this earlier. Like, I was like that the entire night until I accepted it didn't. Like, I was just like, she's going to win. She's going to win. She's going to win. And then 11-18, I remember the time, 11-18 hit. It was right after on CNN. I was watching on CNN. They went to like the Harris campaign headquarters and they were like, what's the word over there? And the correspondents were like, it's just silence. And I was like, oh, it's over.
Dude,
okay,
I saw a clip of Harris's co-campaign chairman or some shit like that, whatever the phrase was. And he came out to make the speech. I was like, you're done.
Yeah.
He said, like, we will not be hearing from the vice president tonight, but you will hear from her tomorrow because we're still counting votes. I was like, you console. If you ain't coming out. And what's even funnier, the opposite for Trump. If you don't hear from him, he's winning.
Yeah.
If he's losing, he's tweeting.
Yeah, because
stealing it.
Earlier in the day, it was like, Pennsylvania's stealing
this is bullshit. And then all of a sudden, like, never mind, everything. I mean, and again, that's what's funny about, like, it's like, okay, but so now we fully believe in the Electoral College and the whole process, right? Okay. Yeah. This time it was totally true, real, and fine. So.
I like to think, I think I have a pretty good cultural pulse. Like, I think, like, when I watch TVs, I'm like, I know if I recommend TV, I think usually it's good TV. Everyone's like, yeah, that is good.
Yeah.
Movies, music, like, I'm pretty good at it. My only two blind spots are reality television and Donald Trump, which are arguably the two cornerstones of America.
I was gonna say, and guess where he comes from, bro? Like, I mean, he's almost, in my mind, one of the most influential parts of a reality TV. Yeah. That's why it's as popular as it is.
They're just like the two things. I'm like, I just don't get it. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you. I don't like. There'll be a show where it's like hot dumb chicks and hot douchebag guys. I'm like, that looks like the dumbest thing in history. And then 3 weeks later, like, so we have a new biggest television show of all time, and everyone loves it.
And honestly, that's the country too. Just a bunch of like dumb girls and douchebag guys. that's. I do think. I mean, this is I remember feeling this way the first election, and now it's definitely the big talking point right now. Everybody's saying it that like. There's a huge swath of America that feels like, they are the Democratic Party is condescending and sanctimonious and you're talking down to us and you don't listen to us and we are now like not gonna put up with it anymore. And that's like the vibe. And I can understand why the other side, like the left, would be like, just shut the fuck up about that. Like, what are we talking about? This guy's like so terrible. But when you ignore that forever and ever and ever, and eventually it just like there's so many people that feel that way. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong or misguided or whatever side you're on of it. It's like it is the way. So you have to start paying attention to that, or you're going to just keep losing forever.
It is the Democratic Party is a lot like parents telling you to like turn the lights off when you leave a room. You're like, I fucking know. Okay, I just don't want to do it right now.
Yeah,
like,
and that
it's
shit.
like everyone should have equal rights, and you're like, I know, but not right now. Okay, I'm too tired right now.
Too tired for equal rights.
Dude, when I voted yesterday, I didn't even know what I didn't know what it was, but on the back of the New York ballot, one of the first the proposals, and the first proposal was just the Equal Rights Act. And I was looking around is it a prank?
Yeah. Are we voting against this?
Are people voting no on this?
But that's the thing is I think that a lot of people in the Democratic Party view a lot of stuff as how could you disagree with me on this? And guess what? A lot of people fucking do. And again, I however you may feel about certain issues, you think right, you think wrong, abortion and immigration, all that. It's it doesn't matter if you're going to try to win. You know what I mean? You have to accept that just being this is what's right and good and what I believe and you should too. It's not fucking resonating. As a matter of fact, they hate all of your guts. They are, it's so bad. I would imagine even Trump supporters would prefer he doesn't have 34 fucking indictment felonies and all these women coming out. I don't think they like that part. I think they're just willing to look past it because of whatever they believe in the issues and how much they hate other people.
My question is, I don't pay super close attention, but I think I pay closer attention than the average person. Which I think I watch the convention speeches, I watch the debates. 20 million people watch the debate, 150 million people vote. So I'm one of that 20 million.
Right.
And I watched the debate. I was I don't now. This is, by the way, kind of sick. White men, we spent we had probably 5 years complaining where it's it's hard to be a white guy. It's I lost. I'm pretty sure I won now.
I know.
Right? I'm pretty sure I won.
It's he was saying some shit about taxes that I'm pretty cool with.
but I still don't. That's all I hear is that. But I don't. I watch it. I don't know what the political the economic plan is. I don't know.
Well, I will just say this about so. I mean, he won the presidency. They have the House, the Senate, the Supreme Court. You better be right.
Yeah.
Because if this guy wants to do something, he pretty much can, that. There's no checks and balances anymore. So you better hope he's not a bad dude. Otherwise, we're fucked. That would be an all-time, whoops. Because there's nothing to check him. That's the other part that, you can cry about Donald Trump all you want. But what about every other fucking election that went red? They control everything now. There's more to it than just Donald Trump. Obviously there is something fundamentally going on that
I
Democrats
watched
just can't accept it. They can't look in the mirror and be yo, we got to do this differently. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is either. But I will say, turns out that just fucking propping up kind of a fake candidate at the 11th hour was not a great idea.
Yeah. I think the bigger mistake was trying when I thought the campaign, and look, none of us are experts. We don't know what the fuck we're talking about. As, someone who was voting blue the whole time, I was more in on it when it was hey, those guys are weird, right? That. Yeah. And then at some point the campaign shifted to being trying to win Republicans. When they brought in the Cheneys and stuff like that. It didn't change my vote, but it made me less I was more what are we doing here? Yeah. And I think I don't think they won
I think there's a million missteps. I think the whole thing was poorly done. I really do believe that not having any sort of primary kind of just gave so much ammo to the other side of being this is not democracy at all. This is you just propped somebody up out of nowhere. You know what I mean?
But I also I disagree with that. I mean, the primaries were ran the same way they were ran in the 70s. It's not democracy didn't disappear. It's different.
But her not having to be voted.
That's how it was done in the 70s. Every 50 years or so, the primaries change. And so yes, it was not how it's done modernly, but it wasn't some insane change from how primaries have been run in the past. But when I was watching CNN last night, they were talking about how one of the more effective Trump ads was the Kamala transgender surgeries. And I think I'm definitely a liberal person, but I think of myself as a more to the middle liberal person. And I saw that commercial, I'd be yeah, that is, I don't know, there probably should be some checklist system to if you're just giving out transgender surgeries to prisoners that. There's probably some way to. So I actually looked it up, and I was I looked into the numbers of it, and it was the only real numbers I saw were California, and it was the prison budget is $4 billion. $1 million are spent on gender affirming care, which can mean something as simple as hair transplants. It's hard to figure out what went to what in that $1 million. So like 0.005% of the California prison budget is used. So I was like, that's not something I vote on.
No,
but the message resonated with people.
It's like not about anything of substance.
Yeah.
It's just about running your campaign better than the other one, And it's like they have their version of fear mongering and we have our version of fear mongering and which one's going to work. And it turns out that like, I really do think you can't just be like, if you vote Republican, you're a Nazi and you're a racist. I think that's a bad tactic because I do think there's a bunch of people who get through that. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's probably a bunch of racist Nazis who do it. But I also think there are probably other people who are like, it galvanizes me more to be like, fuck you, because why, stop saying that about me. Stop calling me that. Stop treating me like that. And I don't think, I mean, I'd have to get it by now, no?
I don't know. I don't know what get it means.
Like that they just have to acknowledge that you can't just be like, you can't kind of like brush it off and just be like, well, if you think this way, you're like racist trash. There has to be some compromise of like, I'll hear out your problems or what you want or whatever,
Of course.
Appeal.
I mean, general civility. Yes, yeah. I agree. I
think they come across as a very condescending party of like, I cannot even fathom that there are people who don't agree with me.
I agree that it comes off condescending. I also am like, I don't understand. I genuinely think like, how can you not vote for like women's health rights? Like,
right.
I don't.
But so that's my point, is that like, I agree with that too. It's like, I think it is insane. I think you're far more likely to have a problem where like your wife's on the operating table and there's a problem at birth and you can't save her life or do what you need to do because of like rules and laws. Far more likely to have something like happen like that than like a migrant murders you. But
I also don't.
But you have to accept and change that mindset of like, you can't just be like, what, I don't understand why you don't. Like, I don't know. I've tried to figure it out. Try to understand it. Because you have to appeal to, I mean, I always come back to the country's too big. I think we talked about it before. I don't know if we ever did it on the air, but I think I broke the country up in my mind to like 5 different countries. It's like the Northeast needs to be its own country.
Yeah.
The Northeast can't be talking about like Alabama and the Northeast can't like be under the same rule. It's just not. It's a different world. It's a different country. So like there are fundamental issues like with that, I believe. But if you're not gonna like, if you're just gonna ignore or think lesser than, I mean, to me, it's simple things like the reproductive rights and women's rights are so black and white. But you better like, isn't it better to win to like figure that out or play a little dirty or do whatever you need to do to then win, to then maybe fix that, rather than just being like stamping your feet about it.
I do like get the condescending thing, but also I feel like I feel like the left was more on the defense in terms of like, right? It's like harder to not come off like whiny when you're on the defense.
I agree with that.
So it's such like a thin line to balance. So
I disagree with, they don't, I think, I don't know where it comes from. And like, I think that he's the whiniest person that's ever lived.
Well, yeah, but you know what? But it's I think you know what I really believe, truly, like
he tweets in caps locks, like they're doing this, like he tweets like a whiny baby.
But I really believe like all of this goes back to, I honestly believe the slogan was like the most important thing to ever happen to him, because the idea of "Make America Great Again," and it became a phrase and a rallying cry and an acronym that appears much more like, let's be great and just like go higher and onward and upward. And the Democrats come off much more like, it's not this feeling of which is, and it's all bullshit, by the way. I'm not co-signing it. I'm just saying it's marketing. You know what I mean? Like their marketing and their slogans and their catchphrases, it's like Nike. It's like better, it's better than their shit, because it comes off as, more controlling and, they murder squirrels.
But like even when you're throwing out words like controlling, like what's more controlling?
I know.
It's all smoke and mirrors and stuff like that. But like, You know, I'm dead wrong. I was dead wrong. I was thinking last night. I was like, I was picturing what was happening at Women HQ, which is a fictional place.
I was like, boy, you really are informed. I didn't know about there's a Women HQ.
No, I was like, I think chicks got to be like in a horror movie. We like, you gotta tell transgenders like, look, we'll come back for you, but we gotta separate right now.
But that's kind of what I mean. It's like they're. I am very a big believer in like rights for everybody and let people do their shit. But when you make something that's very extreme and still very new to a lot of the world, even like people that would probably consider themselves liberal and progressive are still, the older generation still are like, I don't know about all that, and what are they doing in schools, and what are the surgeries going on? And when that becomes like the face of your, or a big piece of it, it's like, I just think of it from a tactical point of view, and it's just like, I don't think it was the right time for you to go like with this candidate on these issues in this manner, because what you needed to do was more like run a campaign that was going to rally more people rather than like turn some people off, and even like the talk of like I was saying, the big talking point is the people who are like, I'm fed up and I need to be heard, you know? It's like, shut the fuck up. Yeah. Shut up. Like, to me, I'm just like, I guess it sounds un-American or not, you know, democratic or whatever, but it's like the general feelings of the average person in America. I know that's what it should be about, but it's really not. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's more important to just have like the right people in office who are smart and competent, and like, if you don't feel heard or respected or whatever, it's like, I don't know, man. You know, maybe I'm not articulating my point very well, but it's like, I just think it's much more about, you know, arguing and winning than it is like if he fixes everything, then great. All of your problems, you're like.
My question would be like. And like it's a genuine question. I'm not trying to like get anyone. Like, what is broken? Like, and I'm obviously in a very unique situation. Like, you know, people always say like, or both candidates have been saying like, is your life better in the last 4 years? My life's demonstrably better. So like, I had the freedom to vote where like, yes, my last 4 years have been better, and I kind of like the people I like what they're saying. The people who have made those last 4 years.
Yeah.
So like for me, it was pretty easy, but like I. Genuinely, what do people think is broken?
I think people now are expecting that, like, he's going to fix inflation. That
but inflation,
that the housing market is going to be affordable. That the border issue is going to be fixed.
Like, inflation is, you know, like what? Like inflation's below what Reagan ran when Reagan ran on it.
Yeah. As
it's morning in America, it was like 2.5%. It's 2.4% right now.
Right. Yeah, I mean
the stock market hits a new high every day.
So the craziest thing,
like, I'm not trying to be. I'm genuinely curious.
Like, that's the problem. Like, why was that not the screaming it from the mountaintops from the Democratic Party?
Yeah, I don't know.
The stock market being at an all-time high usually is like determines everything, because it's just like, you got money, you're good, and no one wants to rock the boat. The fact that people were willing to like vote like against almost their own money in certain situations is fucking crazy to me. It's like, you should be, and a lot of those things. I mean, I think the economy is almost like 100% doesn't. The president really does not affect that at all. Like, the economy comes and goes, and you get credit when it's good, and you get the blame when it's bad. But why they weren't being like, the stock market is at an all fucking time high by like a mile right now. Everybody's prosperous. Everybody explain that the inflation thing. I mean, I don't know overall. I mean,
I know.
I do know there. I'm not sure of the numbers, but there is something going on as far as cost of goods, cost of living, housing markets, shit like that. I don't know if that falls under inflation or whatever it may.
But like the United States, again, I would be curious what numbers I should look at, because clearly the ones I looked at weren't right. But like, America has the best post-COVID economy of the G7. Mm-hmm. G7 is America, Canada, France, Italy, Japan, Germany,
right?
Something like that. So like, those are like the countries.
Don't you think that like that's
so like you have the number one?
I would have rather you fucking run that campaign. Like, but honestly, it's like, you hear more about, you know, crazier, more progressive things. I don't want to diminish them, but it's like focusing on trans rights or focusing on some of the more social progress that, let's be honest, is probably going to happen no matter like what. Like that's just like where society is moving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To not make that the focal point. Like if it was me, I would just be like, we're all rich. We're all making money. Like fucking hammer that shit down.
Like
over,
I don't
over and over again.
I certainly don't doubt the people who say that like it has not been good, but like, I'm just wondering like, what numbers should you look at to see that?
That's what I mean. I that's kind of what I was failing to articulate earlier. Is they're more talking about like their feelings. You know what I mean? They're like, I don't like being talked down to by some hoity-toity, high horse, lifelong politician. I want like a real person. Like, I don't know. That doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Like what matters is things like fucking money and the economy and safety and all that.
I actually, when they were looking at Georgia results, on CNN again, like they were like, it was like 40% of like the exit polls were like their main concern was the economy, and as soon as I saw that, I was like, that's not going to be good. But I don't know what's wrong with it.
George, you said Georgia's exit polls said that they were concerned with the economy?
Yeah, for like 40, like their highest concern for people leaving the polls was the economy, and I was like, I know what that means. It means it's not good for Democrats. But I don't know. Like I'd be curious to see where I should look in the future because I don't know where the numbers are bad. I'm sure there are.
Yeah.
I just don't know which ones they are.
I do think also like kind of what you're saying. It's like the broiest bros on one side against. I don't think that the world is like ready for a female president. Like you can't have the broiest bros go up against like it's just like. The world is not there yet.
I don't say this.
But the world is. America's not. There are plenty of female presidents.
Yeah, exactly. And
well,
like
I was making this argument. My mother is not
female leaders.
My mom says she's not going to speak to me for a month, by the way, because I didn't vote. She's
Yesterday was I think my first time voting in person. I've always voted by mail. It is kind of cool. You do like feel a little bit like, oh, I'm participating in society.
Yeah. I said to her like, I didn't vote. She knew I didn't vote, but we were laughing about it like kind of a week ago, just kind of like. For my reasonings and just whatever. And now that it didn't go her way, she hung up the phone. She's like, I'm not talking to you for a month. This is worse than the Johan Santana no-hitter. But what I was saying is like, I don't mean this in a way that like it should be this way, but like I don't think it was the right time for a minority female.
So
it's just like you should have just, and more to the point is that there was just nobody else. Like you don't got one that it was like this was probably I love to be in a world one day where being a female and being a minority and whatever does not make a difference, but right now it still does. So right now is probably the time to just find a fucking white guy.
Well, that's what I would say.
Like a cool black guy.
It should be
sure. Yeah.
And I'm saying this as a woman.
Like, my mom was like, "Do you remember Obama? Like he fucking won twice." And I was like, "You're right, but he was cool and could speak better and could like perform better, and so maybe that was the problem. I don't know."
I was like, I guess it's time to break glass and bring out Newsom. I don't know anything about
but that's
Newsom.
What I mean. Like,
I just know he's a good-looking dude and used to fuck hot people. Like, I don't know. That seems like all it takes.
like you know what, George Clooney, put your money where your mouth is, bro. Just fucking get up there and act like what's your Danny Conrad or whatever your fucking name is in Ocean's 11. Just be that cool guy.
Danny Ocean.
Right? Yeah. Danny Conrad works here. Be that fucking cool guy that makes people want to vote for you. Not like
it is also just like we started with it. Like the messaging of it. Excuse me. I'm on the bracket. I think comes out tomorrow, and we're debating the least manly things. And one of the play-in games was being a lip, and I voted for that.
Yeah.
Like I said, the calls come from inside the house, but like. It's pussy for me to be like, come on, guys, don't we care about women? It just is. And I don't know how you combat that.
But that's what I mean. That's basically my whole message there is like, you have to accept that, which is fundamentally difficult because it's like, it's the right way to be. It's the right way to just like care about other people's lives. But it doesn't win elections, or not anymore. You know what I mean? Maybe it did.
No,
but
like
I
think it didn't win this time. I think it's. I don't think we should like broadly be like not anymore. It won 4 years ago, and it might win in 4 more years. Like it didn't win this time.
Yeah,
I think.
And then because it won 4 years ago, it won 8 years in a row before that. Like it's not.
So it's a little bit recency, but I don't know. Is it gonna be another election? He's got control of everything, bro. But that's the shit that's annoying. It's like Ruth Bader Ginsburg not retiring when Obama was in office. It was like that was a bad move by the party. Like, you should have fucking forced her to do that. Should have figured out the Biden situation much earlier. Was having a great day. It's cool, Joe. I think Joe Biden. What time is it?
12:30.
Joe Biden's probably waking up right now. Probably just woke up, poured himself a cup of coffee, sat on a rocking chair, saw the news, and probably faked being upset, and then just like smirked to himself like, "Hey, ain't so easy, huh?" Turns out, maybe old Joe was. And I understand that, like, where he had declined to, he probably would not have won. But when you see how much I don't know. Lost
Did you
ground.
see this, by the way?
Search.
What's this?
How many people looked up? Did Joe Biden drop out the day of the election day?
Yeah, well, that's also ultimately, like, it's so silly. I was watching. No, I wasn't watching.
Wait, that's crazy.
Yeah, but like it's so silly to get worked up about, and I admit I do sometimes. But like when I was watching, I was scrolling on Twitter yesterday, and like the New York Post tweeted a video of like someone being like, "Who'd you vote for?" He's like, "Trump." I'm like, why? He's like, Harris is scared of Rogan. And it's like, well, okay. Like, I don't know. Like, what do I even look at shit for? What do I care?
That's the problem. Did you see the clip of on CNN when they have the map of Biden's votes, and then they're like, we're gonna flip over to the states and the counties where Kamala like outperformed him, and they click the button, and the fucking whole country goes dark, and Jake Tapper goes, nowhere, not one. I think they did not, and this is the mentality problem that I think that their party has, is they did not like even consider that could happen. Yeah, and that's the problem when here it is. I mean, he is so like not one.
That out here, Harris overperforming 2020. Holy smokes! There you go. So let's
Zero.
Anything on the east side there? Literally nothing. Literally not.
Like, he's like, it can't be possible. There must be something wrong, and I think that is their problem. Is they are approaching it from a point of view of like, this cannot possibly be true. And it's like, brother, it's been true, and it's and like you said, not for a very long time because they've won in the past elections, but like for this whole build up and for this election, if you were not prepared for like, hey, I actually don't think a lot of people are agreeing with us, I think you were way off the mark. I mean, clearly you were off the mark, but it's like you gotta have your come to Jesus moment where it's almost, what it's actually kind of like is like making content in a way. It's like that fucking documentary or short film or a sketch or something where you put like a lot of work into it and wrote a great script that should get you like 100 million views, and it's gonna get you like 10,000. And the fucking loudmouth reality TV type like that type of content crushes. Yeah. And it's like, that ain't the way it should be. and then you also usually make your bed. Like, you're like, I'm either gonna sell out and be like a monster, or you recognize if I do things my way, I'll be successful, but I'm not gonna win. I'm not gonna become the biggest. I'm not gonna win the White House. Like, you gotta get with it a little bit. But it's hard to do that when a part of that is admitting like, let's stop focusing on like women's rights and like safety for people. Let's like, you have to. It's probably like a pivot of your whole like personality. But that's where you should get like scummy. It's like hiring the right GM. Like, go hire that guy to run your fucking campaign and just do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's more about the way you do it, not. I think about.
I don't know. I think the message. I just think it always sounds preachy.
Yes.
And there's no way to combat that. Like,
but
it's going to always
like,
sound preachy to be like, we should treat people equally. It's going to sound preachy.
The issue is feeling like everybody feeling that they're getting preached to, and it's condescending, and they're being called names, and you got to figure out a way to stop that. I don't know. You got to, I don't know how to do it. At the end of the day, I think there's just a lot more people who are, less thoughtful and more black and white about like certain shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't know what
no more taxes. Like, sounds good.
I don't know what the shit they're black. I don't know what. Again, I pay pretty close attention, and I don't know what the black and white issue really was. I guess it's like I said, the they said last night the transgender commercial really resonated, so I guess that might be it. I don't. What was the black and white issue?
What I mean, again, I know what they say is inflation and the housing market, the border and like progressive shipping like jammed down their throats, but be it trans or
I think that's it.
abortion
I
and
think
all
the
that,
I think that's the black and white issue, which to me is great. Like, I don't know, just let people be people. I don't fucking care. But everyone doesn't think that. So
let people
what are
be
you gonna
people,
do?
let squirrels be squirrels. I think there probably was a truly. I'm sure Joe Biden would prefer. I'm sure he hates Donald Trump. Is not happy that he's in the White House. But I do believe there was probably a part of him that was a little bit vindicated, and he probably cracked a little smirk. And I also think there was a big exhale from Tony Hinchcliffe. And he was like, and it's funny that I believe the numbers are like the Latinos never considered not voting for Trump. It seems like so that never was an issue, but there was everyone thought that for maybe a second. And if there was some world where every Latino came out of the voting booth being like, I was Trump up until that stupid joke, he would have been so fucked. I'm sure he was like, woo, dodged a big bullet on that one. So I don't know. Yeah, I guess you see what's. I think also that the not being, at least saying you're not gonna be involved in wars is a big one too. People don't like war, and at least putting out the message of we're not gonna fuck with other people. We need to worry about in-house.
But we
that
do.
resonates with people. Yeah, well, I mean that's
I don't even mean what is not being. I don't know.
I feel
we're gonna keep fighting in Israel. We're gonna keep fighting in Ukraine.
I don't think. I think he'll probably try to stop fighting.
Well, I mean, maybe we're not gonna send people, but we're gonna keep sending money.
I could see him being like, "We're done with Ukraine."
Maybe Ukraine, Israel. We're gonna keep fighting.
Israel, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, they were saying that Netanyahu bet on this, the way he was operating the past year was basically banking on Donald Trump. And then I think as of today, he started making moves to be now I know that America is going to be on our side. So shit like that.
Wait, you mean Putin?
No.
You said Netanyahu?
Yeah.
So now he knows America's going to be on their side? Oh, right. I'm thinking of Zelensky. Netanyahu. Yes.
So shit like that where it's and there's a bunch of people out there who are I don't fucking care about Ukraine or Israel. I care about America. But I don't know. It's just you better be right on these things because you let it's Ukraine's first and then what's next? You don't want to be hysterical or dramatic or fear mongering in that direction, but it's just those. I could see those things happening, and people will turn around one day and be like, oh, maybe that wasn't the right move. But
for some reason, the Justin Baldoni thing makes me just look at PR and everything differently because everyone was fuck Justin Baldoni, and then he's the guy with the whole Blake Lively
right, the director,
and then he got this PR crisis management team.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knew that he got it, and then everyone was like fuck Blake Lively, we saw it coming, we knew that we were going to be swayed, but it's just PR.
It's the ultimate PR campaign. It's the ultimate popularity contest.
Yeah.
But that's where you gotta get with that. Or maybe you're right, John. Maybe if I wonder if there is I know a lot of people are he's never gonna leave the White House. I mean, I think that would be pretty far fetched.
No, I think it'll be
But
there was 4 years that were fine. Kind of it's more like it's just we have news every day.
Yeah.
You could forget Biden existed.
Right.
And it was great.
For real.
Now it's every day there's something.
But do you think that the next person tries to run with the Trump baton the same way? Because it's hey, it worked. Let me become. But you can't fake.
I was gonna say, I think anyone who tries will fail.
Will fail. Yeah.
Trump,
he's one of a kind.
He is just him. He's just, you can't pretend to be him.
When he does the dance thing, and people just don't make fun of that. And then when he was grabbing the mic and pretended to suck it, can you imagine Joe Biden pretended to deep throat a microphone? Why? I just think I think it just goes to show that all of those things, those are minor things, but they're still things. People were just we don't care, because of whatever black and white issue it may be. The fact that I think you're right, it was a pretty muddled. You always see that when people do man on the street shit, and they're okay, but what is the issue? And the person's I don't like Kamala. It's well, tell me why.
No one knows anything.
Nobody ever has an answer. So that's the point. Is stop even focusing on the issues and focus on tricking people into voting for you. That's what it is. Convince people.
Yeah, make like equal rights like swaggy somehow. Like, cool.
It's a tough sell. That's what I mean. I really do believe though, like that "Make America Great Again" slogan, as maybe hollow as it might be, because it's like, when were we great? Are we great? How are we gonna be great? Like, what are the actual answers there? It's just something that like dumb people can be like, yeah, where it's hard to be like, gender reassignment. It's just not it. So, what do you think is going, like, if you are? I was comparing it to the Yankees winning the World Series. Like, when the Yankees win the World Series, I usually like do like a media blackout. Like, I just try to avoid any Yankee fans. I just don't listen to any of the sports talk I listen to. I try to just pretend it didn't happen. Like, if you're one of these podcasts or talking heads or networks or whoever, and you were just like dead wrong, and like what do you do now? You're just like, fuck.
I mean, I
guess
think,
you just start it up for 2028, but like I don't know, it's tough.
I was dead wrong. I actually found it easier to be dead wrong once I was officially dead wrong.
But also,
like,
I mean,
I woke up this morning, I was like,
you were
I
wrong,
was
but
fucking
it's
wrong.
not your bread and butter.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
If we were a political show, and for months and months and months, I was like, I don't really think Kamala's the one, and you were like, no, yes, and then it just goes wrong. It's like, what do
You just
I
go,
do
all
now?
right, I don't know anything.
Yeah, I mean, I did see Mark Cuban tweeted. He was like, "Congrats to Donald Trump, you won fair and square," and like some other little pleasantry. And it's like,
Yeah, I'm
I
rooting for the
guess-
guy.
Yeah, right. Well, that's
Like,
that's the other thing is like, I wonder. I do wonder though. This is kind of my point, and I think the fact that I'm even gonna like think of this as a possibility is the problem with the Democratic Party. If you were to put someone like from Kamala to the deep Democratic people, if you would put them to a lie detector test, then you would be like, would you prefer that Donald Trump delivers on everything and America is amazing somehow in the next 4 years, or like he fucks it up and you guys were right and he's wrong? I think they would like fail that test.
Probably,
Right?
I mean, he does like if that's politics. I mean, he's openly been saying the same. Where he's like, I hope the economy crashes. Like,
Right, but
people aren't.
That's it's like this. It's the same thing that I used to say about Frank. Like, you want the team to lose.
Yeah,
You're
right.
rooting for them to lose. You'd rather them lose than you be wrong, and that is what's happening here. But just on like the highest level with the highest stakes. But it would be it's a tough day if you're like you're you got to put out a video today or an article or a think piece, and it's just like, you're just gonna get.
But I think it's
whooped.
easier. I think it's almost freeing to be like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, but
I don't know what to tell you. I was
you know
wrong.
What? You and we and I think we're very much in the minority with the ability to do that. I think this is the ultimate time that you got to be like, and that's what I'm saying about the party. Everyone from the talking heads to the party need to be like, we gotta look in the mirror. I don't know. We gotta like drop all of our ego, drop all of our bias, and like just figure this out, because clearly we are so fucking wrong, But people really, really, really lack the ability to do that on like minor things. So let alone big things where people make it like their whole personality or their whole, I saw somebody say,
I texted Greer yesterday. We were stealing it, and my sister sent me a picture of my nephew voting. And I was like, you can lay your hopes down now. We're stealing it again. And I sent that confidently. I was like, I'm going to fucking revisit this later tonight. I was wrong.
All right. So, what just sucks the most? Elon Musk getting to a fucking victory lap is just the worst, bro. Like, the worst. I don't even... What was going on with him with that $1 million thing? I didn't catch up on that. That was
I don't know enough about
so
that.
he was given $1 million to what was being proposed as like random people who voted, and then when it went to court, he was like, no, this has already been predetermined. We're giving it to people who were basically like campaigning the hardest. Was kind of what his defense was, and he won. That was crazy too. Like this thing like came to be in court and like was decided on in like a day.
Really?
It was like
I knew it went to court. I did not know it's already been decided on.
Yeah, well, at least what I heard, it was like in the middle of the afternoon in like Pennsylvania, the judge ruled like against the injunction or whatever, and they were like, he's allowed to do this. It's like bro, getting like figuring out like a parking ticket takes like 6 months. How the fuck did this get done in like 6 hours? $1 million a day giveaways to voters. So yeah, so initially it was announced that he would give $1 million to random voters. But then they said, like, this is blatantly, like, you're rigging it, like, you're not allowed to do that. And then behind the scenes, they were like, no, we've picked these people according to, like, the work they've done. But even that seems like, I don't know, you're allowed to do that?
Yeah.
That seems like it should be.
It's giving, like, he got a seat at the cool table, and now he's, like, trying to, like, show everyone. Like, guys, look, I'm sitting with them.
Oh, for sure, bro.
You guys, look, I'm sitting with
Like,
them.
Elon's entire existence is like, I know that I'm smart and did this cool thing in science, but like that does not satisfy me. That doesn't scratch my itch. I need to be the meme lord and the funny guy. Oh,
You talk about the big story? You got a
What's your
Band-Aid
big
on your
story?
hand?
Well,
What the fuck is that, dude?
bro, I got a fucking staph infection, dude. Would you rather me just be rolling out here all?
Wait, so that's under that Band-Aid? What it looks like on your dick?
Yeah.
Oh, let me
What?
see.
Well,
wait.
really?
Yeah.
Then you're gonna picture it like on my. This is still like not. It's a lot better, but it was like a lot of that.
Super underwhelming.
Okay.
That's just
Well-
a yellow rash.
Well, I'm saying this is like 7 days of.
I was certainly picturing you at a purple penis.
No. You know what? I'm just gonna take my pen. It was never the penis. That's what I did not even like.
This is exactly like Denver. You can keep saying it all you want. Like, it doesn't fucking matter, dude. You got a purple dick.
I mean, I had like, imagine this like bigger, redder, and rawer, just like all over the inside of my leg, and then like creeping up closer. It looked like
I thought purple for sure.
purple
Yeah.
on the dick.
I would
love for you to
this
draw a
was-
picture of what you thought my dick.
Because
looked
when
like.
you were like,
Get out like crayons and shit and draw it all.
I remember asking you like, has anyone seen it? And you're like, no one's ever seen this. Like, I'm never taking my pants off for a month. Blah blah blah. And I was like,
It was
oh.
that bad. I'm not exaggerating. If you saw it, bro, I took my pants off in front of a doctor, and she said, "Go to the ER right now." I'm not lying.
But like that's just like that's like that looks to me like standard red rash. Like I was thinking it was something like.
No, okay. In that sense, it was like a red rash, but it just was like very intense and everywhere. But not my dick. You can make fun of my groin for the rest of my life. You can call me like ugly groin, grundle boy, whatever. My dick was fine. I did not even like consider the ramifications of just talking about that like willy-nilly. Like a lot of people, like extended family, friends, people like hitting up being like, so does Kevin have genital herpes? Like, do I need to worry about this?
What if, like,
should I
they
talk
make
about
you,
that?
like, their champion because you, like, talk about it openly and they're like...
Imagine that. What would that? How much for you to be like the open, like I got herpes guy?
Is it healing at all?
Yeah. I mean, I'm in
Hell yeah.
much. The problem. The only reason I have this is because it's right on the crease. So like every time I move
Yeah.
it. But I mean, they put me on 2 different antibiotics and a steroid cream. It was a fucking nightmare, dude. Like I'd rather be in pain than like itch and uncomfortable. You know what I mean? I'd rather be like in agony than that. I was just sitting here, like even when I was here doing the show, the whole time I was always like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Really?
I was like showering like 10 times a day, wrapping it up like a fucking mummy. It was just like, I don't do well with that shit at all. My dad was telling me, so my dad was a merchant marine, and so like they go out on the ship for like months at a time, and they're obviously living in like disgusting. They're like a bunch of like college kids living on a small boat ship, like living in bunks together. And his one buddy got crabs, and he was sleeping on the bunk above him, and he said he would throw them at him from down on the bunk. He'd be like, got one, throw it at you, like picking little. And he said that he took a shower in diesel oil to try to like kill it all off, and said like his body and the bunk just smelled like diesel oil for like 6 straight months. So yeah, I mean it was it's not great. It's not great. But I'm almost back, and I don't have herpes, and I don't have an STD, but a lot of people thought that, and I can understand why. How about the biggest drop of the year? The Biggest Drop, The Smallest Man.
I have not heard it yet.
Oh, you know?
No.
It's pretty good.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Like Dave.
Yeah.
Dave.
Well, people said to me like Dave really like improved since the last time. I think it's about the same.
Yeah.
It's the same.
This is one of those things where like I know it all comes with Brianna's blessing and all that stuff. I just always feel weird, like obviously I didn't participate, but just like, hearing about coworkers' relationships and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I'm always
yeah.
like,
I always try to stay out of anybody's business.
Yeah,
but it's also it's like I don't know. The floodgates are now open to just be like I don't know, fuck that guy.
Oh yeah, no, fuck Jack Bryan.
I did not know that he's tiny.
I would have guessed he wasn't very big.
They
I stopped listening to Zach Bryan once they started dating, and I never got back on the train. I thought maybe when they broke up I might get back, and I didn't.
Well, speaking of crabs, that's a big focal point of this, is that apparently he's got a dirty dick and spread some things around.
That's where if I were Brie, I'd be like, "Do we have to make the whole point?"
Yeah. At what point does this kind of start to look like an L for me?
Yeah.
But it came out good. It's a funny video too. BlueChew, have better sex with BlueChew. That's what it comes down to.
I like that opening line. It's just like have better. It's like when Michael Scott tries to get the office's attention. He's like, sex.
Yo, I was about to say the same thing. Like, what is life all about? It's about like either getting a good enough job to make enough money to impress enough people or support a person or whatever, so you can be in a relationship with them so you can have sex with them. All roads just lead back to like we want to have sex and you want to have good sex. BlueChew is the way to do it. Because if you do all that work and you go out and you court somebody and you deal with all the relationship problems and all that shit just to get laid, and then you stink at sex and it's really short and not satisfying, that's stupid. So if you're going to do all the work to get down to it, you might as well use BlueChew, the original brand offering chewable tablets to make sure that your dick game is strong. We're talking longer lasting. We're talking better, bigger. It's the Kanye song. It's bigger, better, faster, stronger. That's what BlueChew will give you. So say goodbye to performance anxiety. Say hello to stronger and longer lasting. The chewable tablets have the same active ingredient that you find in Viagra or Cialis or Levitra, but it's in a chewable form. And most importantly, it's at a fraction of the cost. So it's all about having confidence when it comes time to perform and having a happy and healthy relationship. So right now, sign up for BlueChew. The subscriptions include a free online consultation, 24/7 medical support, and delivery straight to your door every month. Chew it and do it is one of the all-time great taglines. Chew it and do it. Go to BlueChew.com right now. Use promo code KFC and get your first month for free. So that means promo code KFC, we're just like gifting you good sex.
You're welcome.
Don't say we didn't ever do anything for you, you know? BlueChew.com, promo code KFC for your first month for free. Oh, I guess while we are kind of debating or talking about some of these characters in the media and whatnot, we were watching Speak No Evil.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen Speak No Evil, the movie?
Very good.
Wait,
So
what's that one
fucking
again?
good.
James McAvoy.
James McAvoy, and it's like a psychological murder type thriller.
Yeah.
And he said that for his character, who was like completely and totally unhinged, that he used Andrew Tate as his like inspiration.
Really?
And which is a tough when you watch the movie and you see how like I do not want to defend Andrew Tate in any way, but if someone said like, oh, I was like using KFC as my inspiration, and then you see what he does in this fucking movie, and be like, whoa,
Yeah,
whoa,
but
whoa.
also like when you look at the movie, you see where it goes from Tate to just a murderer.
Right,
Like,
right.
Like,
Like,
at the beginning
I don't
of the
think
movie,
he used the Tate for the inspiration when he needed to like start killing people.
Yeah, it's
but
like
it's the rest of it where he's acting like a total asshole.
Yeah, it's not even. It was. It's so the movie. It was pretty interesting because it is so clearly it's a family raised on right wing media. Not family, a couple raised on right wing media, and then a family raised on left wing media. Because there's like McAvoy's character is like preaching how modern medicine is a scam, which I took to be anti-vaxxing.
This is interesting. I mean, I see where you're going, but I didn't. As I was watching it, I was not thinking about politics.
Hugely pushing cold plunging. Like when
Yeah.
there was one other thing where it was like, oh, that's like a right wing guy thing. It was anti-vaxxing, cold plunging, and there was one other one where it's like, okay, that's the right wing inspiration.
And then they made the
but then
dad
the
look
left wing
like
family,
such a pussy.
where they have like one of the son is non-binary and the daughter. I'm not non-binary, non-verbal, and the daughter is like.
I'm so happy you clarified. I was like, I missed this whole thing.
But the daughter is telling her parents, she's like, there's something wrong with him.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, baby, you can't say that.
Right,
But she
right.
knows, like, she's not saying that. She's not saying
Right.
that's what's wrong with him. She's saying there's something fucking wrong with him.
Deeper,
And
yeah.
they're being so, like, liberal. It's like, no, we can't talk like that, babe.
Yep.
And then
the dad in the movie is like the biggest fucking beta cuck, libtard, whatever you want to call it. Like that is a caricature of like being as weak as humanly possible.
Right. But I also thought it was interesting that he was swayed to like him. Like, he is a very weak man. And that guy, he was defending that guy a lot. He was always the one who was like, no, babe, let's just stay.
Yeah,
He wanted to
yeah.
leave.
Right.
He
right.
liked that guy. He
Well, but I think that kind of makes sense. No, that like it's like almost like everything that he's not. Or
right. No, of course.
Oh, yeah,
of course. Yeah.
Right,
No,
right.
it makes perfect. It makes sense. But it was like, oh, he's so inadequate.
Right.
That he sees this man being a man. Oh, it was like when they were just like screaming and like primal hunting and stuff like that. I saw more Rogan than Tate.
Yeah.
Well, at least what I know of Rogan and the views he espouses. Again, until he turns into a total psycho. But like
Yeah.
the cold plunging, the not vaxxing, the hunting,
Right.
The primal screams and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the fuck, what was I just gonna say? At the end, when she's just grabbing by his face and she's like, "Your family just fucking needs you.
Yeah,
Just be
yeah.
a man
Yeah.
right now."
That was as like on the nose as it can be, where it's like he's like in a catatonic state. And
Yeah.
the mother needs to like slap some sense into him. I wonder like who directed it and who like clearly there's there was a lot of those issues very much implanted and imprinted on that movie.
Yeah.
Where it's like you either feel this way or are this, or you have some issues with this, or whatever. But it all of that aside, like just from a point of view of just like a scary movie with a creepy plot and all that, it is fucking. I thought it was like stupendous.
Yeah, I really like
McAvoy. By the way, huge.
He's always been huge. He's
like-
always
like-
huge,
like
and
he
every
had-
time he's huge,
when he-
people are like, he's big. Like,
But
he's
like
always big.
He was big, but then there's a scene where he puts on like he comes out in a tank top, a wife beater, and I was like, did he get bigger from like the first scene of the movie? Like he was fucking enormous. He is my pick. Has he? What's his resume like? I know him from like Split and
He's an X-Man. I forget who he is.
Yeah,
X-Man.
I think he's my pick for like he's gonna win an Oscar. He's gonna make a jump from like the.
That's certainly not a crazy pick.
Okay. I wasn't sure if he's like regarded as such yet because that guy can act like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
He's just been doing like Mr. Glass and fucking
Right.
M. Night Shyamalan.
I mean,
like,
in Split, he plays 9
Split,
roles.
Yeah,
Like, he's like Eddie
but,
Murphy
like,
in
Split
fucking...
is such a great example of like because it's a movie that one is tied to the Mr. Glass thing
Yeah.
at the end, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
So because it's like more not superhero, but like in that realm, I think it doesn't get the respect. If that was just a movie about like mental health and this guy plays 9 characters, he would have won the Oscar
Right.
for sure. But I think once he gets like the right director, right role, whatever, he is a fucking monster in front of the camera, dude. So good.
Who is he in X-Men? Is he young Dr. X? Is that Dr.
Professor.
X? Professor X? Yeah,
I think he
young
is.
Professor
Yeah,
X
yeah.
before he's
Right.
paralyzed. Because I knew he was walking in it, but I did think he was Professor X.
Right. Oh, and then the other thing, John said this before, but Lioness is the show with Zoe Saldana being like a off the grid special operative in the Middle East is so fucking good.
So, it's awesome.
I would put up the premiere season 1 episode 1 of Lioness as maybe the best premiere I've ever seen, up there with
Is it on Fubo?
No, it's on Paramount.
yeah, it's on Paramount. There's a couple other ones. I know The Night Of, I always say, is a great
Night Of.
premiere. There was one recently that I really put up there on the list as well.
One thing I love about the Lioness poster is Nicole Kidman's in it a little more, but they also pretty prominently feature Morgan Freeman.
Where is he?
I
I was gonna say.
Episode 8, you'll see
I was
him.
gonna say. I'm like over halfway through season 1, and I have not seen him.
Nicole Kidman and
Nicole Kidman's in it. I would say
she's in
but
it, but she's only on like if her character was played by a regular person, they wouldn't be on the poster.
Correct.
She's on it.
Yeah.
But you're paying Critical Kidman for the marketing.
Dude, the whole thing is great. The main plot with Zoe Saldana and the girl, her operative, the husband having the role of the doctor for the pediatric cancer, the daughter being just a fucking asshole, and I mean it is. I was as impressed with that as I've been with a TV show in a long fucking time.
Dude, while we're doing TV, Linus is unbelievable. It's great. I was texting you last night that like when it first, because it it's kind of I like shoot 'em up action stuff.
Yeah.
And people kind of make fun of me, not really, but like you Fast and Furious, like, yeah, I don't know, it's fucking awesome. Shit just blows up and like they do cool shit. Like Lioness is kind of like that.
Well, I will say this: when the first 10-15 minutes of the premiere, I was like, the budget on this TV show must be through the fucking roof.
Yeah.
Because they got helicopters and soldiers and drones and explosions. You're watching like a blockbuster movie, but it's a television show.
Yeah, and I kept the first few episodes. I was like, it's really good. Like it's a lot of fun, or like it's a guilty pleasure. And finally, by like episode 5 or 6, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna say Lioness is fucking awesome.
I think it's great. I really, I would not qualify it as those things or put a disclaimer on it. I think it is like, I mean, it's the second season just came out.
I think so. There are definitely posters
Yeah.
currently up for the second season. I don't know if that means
So
it's
as far
out yet
as
or if it's coming out.
As far as like halfway through season 1, I could not like co-sign it enough. I think it is really, really, really good. It came on. I wasn't gonna. I've seen posters. I heard you talk about it. It really didn't like jump out at me, but it auto played after I finished the latest episode of From on MGM, and so I just kept going with it. And it's I was like, oh, I am fucking hooked on this.
Dude, can I talk about fucking autoplay for a second?
Yeah.
I was watching, I don't know, some bullshit rom-com light movie I put on like to fall asleep to. This is probably a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. Fell asleep halfway through the movie. You know, you put it on something like, I know I'm going to fall asleep. Put it on, fall asleep. I was watching on Prime, so Prime is a new autoplayer. Someone started autoplaying. I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning. Terrifier was on. People just screaming, people getting chopped with chainsaws. I was like, I fell asleep watching The Proposal. How the fuck can you go from that to Terrifier? Like, you got to keep it in the same genre.
I don't even know what that is, but the fact that it's named Terrifier is
it's like considered like one of the like more grotesque
like people puking in the
slasher
theater sort of
movies.
thing. Yeah.
What's that?
It's like an absolute, like a huge cult following. It was like made for really, really cheap. And I think that's why it has such a cult following. And now they're up to Terrifier 3. I'm pretty sure.
It was Terrifier 2 because now I can't get it off my fucking. It's on my Prime.
The algorithm, you're fucked.
But no, it's like continue watching because I stopped watching it.
Oh, that is terrifying.
And
wow.
And now it's just like every time I log into Prime, it's just right there. I don't know how to get it off other than watch the rest of it.
Is it?
How do I get it off my continue watching? I'm done with it.
That
wanna see
actually
it.
looks
Look at it.
scary.
Yeah.
Like, is it good or bad?
The screams just woke me up and I turned off the TV. I don't.
I'm always interested in how to make new monsters and like make things look scary and not cheesy, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're currently in the golden era for clicking noises. Everything clicks now. Everything's a clicker. You're watching The Last of Us. You're watching the Quiet Place. Every monster is just silent and clicky.
Oh my god, I'm just thinking of the guy.
Yeah, your boy. But the show From on MGM, which is, we have an interview today with Harold Perrineau, who is Michael from Lost, and now he's Boyd, the main character of From. These things come out at night, and they are monsters, but they also just look like there's like an old woman in a white dress and like a little girl and like her best friend, and they just are like really creepy, and they stare and they just walk, and it's like, and then they like, you know, rip your fucking face off. But I almost find them scarier when it's just like a little girl holding hands with like her friend slowly walking at you at night.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is that?
It's like the uncanny valley like effect. Where it's
Yeah,
like too
yeah.
close.
I'd rather like, okay, a big monster with like huge teeth. I get it, as opposed to like these. From is very cool. From is scratching my itch for like a Lost type show, which is very fitting that he's in it, Harold, because he obviously was one of the stars of Lost, and I think this will be the first show where this is the first show that I think was a sci-fi, way out there, completely like original type of wacky idea that they made, knowing that they cannot fuck this up like Lost.
Yeah.
I think there's been enough of Lost and Game of Thrones and Soprano endings that's like you almost have to have your ending first.
But you know what? We didn't get into this with Michael. I'm sorry, with Ronald. Harold. Yeah. We didn't get into this with Harold. But like I almost feel like we actually kind of did off air afterwards. So much pressure is put on an ending.
Yeah.
But most stories just end.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
There
I'm telling you a
isn't
story
like
like some crazy fucking night, and I was like, yeah,
And
then we went to bed.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
like there's
I know.
not like these
The end
great...
is not the story. The story is the story.
Yeah.
You know.
Like at the end, I feel like with TV we put this impetus on it where it's got to have this great ending. But like I think of like stories I like to tell, they all just end with like, and then it just ended.
Yeah, but
Like,
when
then-
you write it in a way of like Lost and this show From is a what is this thing? You know? I mean, I do. That's what like some of the movies, kind of like A Quiet Place, is just like fucking aliens, monsters just showed up and we're fucked.
Yeah.
You know? Because we probably wouldn't be able to figure out where they came from or how it happened. But when you do some of these, oh yeah, like go back a minute. There was just like a creepy old woman at your window. Oh, that scares me way more than
I
a
remember
monster.
that because you recommended the show to me a long time ago, and I did watch like probably 4 or 5 episodes, and then kind of fell off. But I remember that scaring the fuck out of me.
Yup. And the whole thing is they can't get into your house at night if you don't. It's like a vampire type thing. You can't invite them.
Dude, now that I'm watching it again, I did fuck with it. It
Yeah.
was just like,
No,
there's so many shows now.
I know. It's
That's
hard
what
to
you
keep up
actually
with.
say in the interview. We're in the golden age of television. I disagree with that. I don't think we are anymore. 'Cause
I
there's
think
just too
like
much.
10 years ago was like
There's
the peak.
it's just over the top.
When it was like Breaking Bad, Sopranos, Mad Men were like the top, and then you were watching a couple others. Now it's just too much.
And you have like everyone.
But I've also figured out I've paired off a lot. Like I will try a show, and I no longer like in the beginning back like 10 years ago. I think it was worth it to push through a show if you weren't enjoying the first few episodes. Now I'm like, I don't think it is.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
If you don't like it, you don't like it. There's plenty of others.
I just bailed officially. I bailed on Disclaimer.
Disclaimer. I was going to say you recommended it, and I tried it, and it wasn't doing it for me. And I was like, I'm not gonna do this myself.
I did 4 episodes, maybe 5 officially. I wish more people watched it so I could talk about. I don't. I'm not like, it's good, but I'm done. I hate this.
I
show.
thought the way that you
I
described it to
hate
me, and then the way that it started, was just like so. Maybe they eventually get more to what you were talking about, but in the very beginning, it's just like the guys at the school and I was just like, am I watching the right thing? Because what I had read about it, when I heard from you, was like, this is not. It was a very slow start. I'll say that. And I was just like, I'm watching From. Now I'm into Lioness. Like I have 2 or 3 that I'm watching at once, and like that's it. You know.
Dude, can you go to? Actually, I'll pull it up. So Disclaimer's on Apple TV. And I was just scrolling Apple TV the other day. Excuse me, that was disgusting. Before I started watching it, and I know this is a very common thing. Like people talk about the stars on Apple and how they don't promote and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Which I actually like now that I'm just starting to think like they're kind of doing like they're kind of making a point like we're gonna be the HBO of streamers, which I know HBO does stream, but like back when HBO was premium cable. Mm-hmm. And there was just regular cable. Mm-hmm. Like everything they do has a massive name attached to it. Like I was flipping through the TV charts, and they had the top 25 shows currently on. So Shrinking #1, Jason Segel, Harrison Ford. Mm-hmm. Disclaimer 2, Cate Blanchett, Sacha Baron Cohen, Kevin Kline. Ted Lasso 3, Jason Sudeikis. 4 Slow Horses, Gary Oldman. 5 Before, Billy Crystal. 6 Bad Monkey, Vince Vaughn. 7 Silo, Rebecca Ferguson. 8 You Would Do It Too. I don't know that one. 9 Bad Sisters. That's like kind of ensemble cast.
Morning Show has fucking everybody.
10 The Morning Show. Everyone. 11 Severance. Adam Scott. A bunch of people. 12 Jake Gyllenhaal. Presumed Innocent. 13 Loot. Maya Rudolph. 14 is a TV show. I don't know. 15 Servant. I don't know. 16 For All Mankind. I don't know.
Servant is from M. Night Shyamalan though, so maybe not the actors. Yeah. It's got Ron Weasley from
right,
but it's written by Shyamalan, so that's a big one.
The Dark Matter, Sam Worthington. Mm-hmm. Pachinko, I don't know. 19 Foundation was who was Foundation? Oh, it's the dude from Jared Harris from Chernobyl, he's a British actor, but he's a big name. And then Palm Royal is everybody.
Yeah,
Palm Royal.
That didn't do better.
Then 24, Jason Momoa.
So this is what I was going to say.
Everything is a massive name.
But yet, I would say, okay, go back to that list for me. Like, Severance is, I don't personally like it, but that's a very successful show. So, like, I got to give it to him.
It's awesome.
So, Severance.
I can't believe you don't like it. It's so sci-fi.
I know.
I'm surprised.
I gotta
like
give it another shot. I didn't dislike it, but
You should give it another shot.
Yeah.
It's 9 episodes. I probably didn't start liking it until 3. I know we just said don't do this, but then from 3 to 9, it was like this is the greatest television I've ever seen.
I was about to say that. I was about to contradict myself because I loved Presumed Innocent. I like the morning show. Silo's awesome. Slow Horses is awesome. So I was about to say, despite all these big names, that like Apple TV's not really like thriving, but I think they're making. I don't know if they're thriving, but they are making good shows. I don't know what the ratings and the signups and the awards are. It feels like some of these.
But that's why I'm saying
I know for a fact that like For All Mankind is fucking incredible, totally under the radar. Silo is a great sci-fi thing, totally under the radar. Presumed Innocent, I'm sure did well, but was like great. I think the morning show like was like their big thing, and I think everybody did watch that. But I don't know if a lot of people are watching Slow Horses. I don't know what's going on with.
But that's why I'm saying it's like a slow play, like.
So you're just thinking that, like it's going to be a point where people just turn around and they go, "Holy fucking shit!"
But it's just like it just becomes ingrained in you that you don't even know what shows they have, but you know
it's
if it's on
quality.
HBO, it's a good show.
Yeah,
and like it's kind of like that.
But you
with
think
Apple
that
right
if you were to be like describe these streaming services in one sentence, people would say Apple TV does not promote their shows. That's like their thing right now.
That's their thing, but those shows are good.
Sorry.
Yeah. And I think that almost becomes a promotion in and of itself.
Right.
So
we just make good shows.
Apple,
and
Netflix shows basically stink.
Yeah.
Like
but there was a time where it was like you gotta watch the next Netflix show. And then
but even that was a fleeting time. I only think of Netflix as having like. No, because they had Stranger Things, Squid Games.
They did. Ozark was a big one.
Ozark, House of Cards.
They had a
Orange is the
moment.
New Black.
They had a moment.
But
they also spiraled out of fucking control and made everything. And it was like, well, that one sucked, and that one sucked, and that one sucked, and now it's about 50-50, where it's like the hit rate is probably half.
It feels like streaming services are like falling into their roles as channels.
Yeah,
like Netflix is like, all right, we're like TNT, and Apple's like, we're fucking HBO. I don't
AMC
know quite what
shit,
Hulu is.
like,
Hulu's doing like the live TV stuff and like reality more.
The only thing we need is a back button.
Yeah.
That jumps from. If you're trying to watch two different things on two different streaming services, it fucking sucks.
Yeah.
You need to be able to hit a button that will send you from Prime.
Wednesday, Dahmer. Yeah, no, I mean, Netflix does. They're not like, you don't. Netflix has the shows where you're like, again, kind of like TNT or something like that. Like, it's not great, but boy, is it enjoyable.
Yeah. I mean, we've done this kind of shit before. If you had to draft a streaming service, if you could only get one, what would it be?
I've recently been loving my Paramount subscription because it's like
Paramount's good.
Started it for the Olympics, and then I was like, well, while I buy this,
Peacock
I'll watch
or
the
Paramount?
Office. Oh, sorry, Peacock.
Peacock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Peacock.
No,
And
Peacock
then-
is good.
But
Yeah.
Peacock, Paramount kind of is in Peacock, right? A little
No,
bit,
Paramount is an offshoot of CBS. Peacock
Yeah.
is
Okay.
NBC.
As the Office, and then now, wait, what else was it? I forget.
Let's see. Peacock has.
Peacock has got a ton of reality.
Yeah. Oh, Love Island USA.
Yeah, that was a big one. I know they had. I think they had the Fresh Prince spinoff was on Peacock. I do think when you look at like the number, the list, like Netflix does have the most.
Oh, for sure.
But HBO Max had a run for a minute there. That's way up there on my list. I remember thinking HBO Max is like early on. I was like, Max is gonna kill it. I think they're pretty solid. Prime is just like everything, right? Like if you want to pay for it, you can get it on Prime, right?
Which is why I use the most.
Yeah,
Yes,
I because I watch like a movie or two every night.
Yeah.
And I always buy them. I didn't realize people don't do that.
I do that too.
Like, and I know we've talked
don't.
about it a lot. Like I was talking like Ken Jack. Ken Jack's like, no, I won't buy it.
What?
I was like, what are you talking about? You're a
Dude,
movie
your
guy.
whole life is movies. To me, if you pull up a movie and you want to watch it, and you don't watch it, and you think to yourself, like, in 3 months this will be available for free on streaming on this, I think that's crazy. And maybe that makes me sound like some fucking liberal, out of touch Democrat who doesn't resonate with middle America. But like, if you want to pay like anywhere from $5 to like $20, depending on if you're renting it or buying it for a movie, that's crazy to me. Unless you are on a tight budget, bro.
I'm just like, this will make me happy. So I'm gonna like my parents won't do it. I get older people don't.
Yeah.
But like people might like to be fair to Ken Jack, he didn't say he never buys it, but he will be like, never mind, this one costs money.
For it. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I see that like movies. It's funny which ones are like. Sometimes it's like $18.99, and then sometimes it's $25.99.
Yeah.
It's like, why the fuck is this one $26? But
and that is a big price to watch one movie. But it's also cheaper than if you were going to
the movies. That's what I mean.
I don't know.
Movies are things that you have to pay for, whether you're at your house or at the theater. So I mean, that to me is.
Wait, is the Substance out? Substance was great.
What is movie?
I don't know what movie is, but what's today? Tuesday? No, today's Wednesday.
What movie? What is movie? It's gotta be like Tubi. Tubi for men. Men.
It's so funny. I think it's so funny, like how it's Mubi and Hulu and like all these like futuristic sounding names, and I think it's kind of lame how they all sound the same.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, like CBS, ABC, NBC,
they're all just letters.
TNT.
Yeah.
Like it's like they are all named after the era they were in.
HBO Max dropping HBO was, I thought, crazy. Like maybe that's just like a studio production thing. They had to do it. But like, if that's me, I want HBO on the fucking. I'll drop Max before I drop HBO.
Right.
I don't know if they were like not allowed to because they had other studios in there or whatever. But there certainly is a fucking lot. I'll say that much. You're right that there's probably a little too much. But if you can parse through it and find the ones you want, there's more than ever. So it's kind of like pick and choose what you want. You know. Same thing with the internet when people are like, oh my god, like there's so many influencers and so much like trash out there. It's like, well, just don't fucking watch those ones.
I've been getting into the YouTuber game for some reason, like
Have
vlogs. Yeah.
Like who?
Just like random like people. They'll do like day in the lives.
Interesting.
And then I'm like,
not like major people.
No, not really. Nobody that you guys would know. But that's my new thing. Also, I was
like
thinking
you're
this
just like kind of like get ready with me's and shit like that.
like just like here's my week in New York, and it's honestly like people who like. It's kind of sad because it's like my age and they have like giant apartments, and I'm just like, okay, that honestly could be me. I was gonna say,
so you're telling me that like young people just documenting like what they're doing and living is you're watching that, huh? That's a good product.
I feel like it's so
maybe
yeah. I
don't know. Maybe you should.
No, but I'm not like aesthetic. Like I would never. People wouldn't want to watch like me go to my like midtown apartment.
I
and,
disagree.
Like, do whatever.
I think people would love to watch like a chaotic week in the life of Jackie.
What actually speaking of
chaos.
That, when I saw you on the street the other day, was that on your walk back from like
that was
Pilates or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were sweaty.
I could kind of see it in your eyes. You were like, "What is going on with her?" And then I also just had like so much pre-workout beforehand too, so I was like so checked, and it was like the hardest workout of my life. Anyways, and then I was like, wow, I like really hope I don't run into anyone I know. And then I looked up, and then you were
bam.
And then I ran into the cute boy in my building, which is like the one time that I need to not run into him.
Yeah, if he saw what I saw, he's like, that bitch is sweaty.
I was sweaty.
Were you in an Italian meat sweatshirt? You were in full blacks.
No, it wasn't. It was like an Adidas. It was giving Italian meat sweatshirt.
What did you say anything to the boy?
Every time I just say the oddest things. Like I literally I was like, no, I don't really say anything, but I was just kind of like, hey, I was like, because he was, oh my god, he was returning. This was actually before, but he was returning Amazon packages, and I was like, oh, how do you return on Amazon? Like. Why would I ask that? Like,
I think that's a fair. I think you should judge him for returning Amazon. You buy something on Amazon.
He actually like every time I see him, he's always returning Amazon. So now it's like, okay, you're the weirdo.
But like, if you're returning Amazon shit, that's crazy.
Well, I mean, I tend to agree, but I'm a wasteful asshole. If you like buy something that doesn't fit you, send it back.
I honestly wouldn't even know. I'm not a big Amazon shopper.
But you don't buy shit on the internet.
I just have.
Most people buy everything on the internet, and then if it's
that's why I don't buy shit on the internet, because I'm like it gets here, I'm like, it doesn't fucking fit me.
Right, but so if you did that,
By the way, speaking of buying stuff, I bought a jacket the other day.
Oh, well, yeah. You've been talking about this jacket.
Yeah, well, once it stops being 80 degrees in November, I'll wear it.
I know.
I wore my jacket.
I broke out my splurge jacket I wore the other day, and everybody was complimenting it. And then I went to put it on today, and it was like, it's fucking 80 degrees. I can't wear it.
I'm in a sweater. It's too hot.
Mm-hmm.
It's November. I don't even have a guess. November
Mount
6th.
Fiji, did you guys see that?
Was that?
Mount Fiji doesn't have
Didn't
snow
get
for
any
the
snow
first
for the
time.
first time in
That's kind of
October.
freaking me out a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, global warming, bro. Donald Trump's gonna fix it though. Yeah, Mount Fiji got no snow the entire month of October for the first time ever.
Nice. This is a complete topic change, but I got Domino's the other night.
Real
Yeah.
good.
What's your order? Cheesy bread?
I go medium, well done, pepperoni bacon, cheesy bread, brownie cookies.
Pretty much perfect.
But there, I also get sauces with my pizzas to dip, and I realized like one of the most fat kid things I know, but like I know this like I know breathing. It's just so easy. You got to dip the pizza into the blue cheese first,
Okay.
and then the buffalo.
Yeah.
How do I just know that?
Wait.
I don't know, but I mean, I didn't. I knew, bro. I didn't even like. I knew you were going buffalo chicken for like. As soon as you started talking about dipping, like that could have been anything. It could have been barbecue. It could have been. I knew it in your head. You were going buffalo and with the sauce.
If you go into the buffalo first, the oils reject
exactly.
the cheese.
It's like putting oil and water together because the buffalo is a little too like watery.
Yeah.
But what you do is it's almost like putting glue on your pizza.
Okay, so I
Totally.
as I was doing it, I was like, this
Totally.
is so fucking gross that you just know this.
No,
dude.
just innate.
Ingrained in
Yes.
you. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
there it is.
Yeah.
And then I, like the scientist that I am, was like, well, why do I know this? What happens with the opposite? And I went buffalo into blue cheese, and the blue cheese all just fell right off.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm sure at some point in my life I didn't know it, but now I just know it.
Also,
And
you know what's the thing? I thought to myself, let me just pre-mix it. Nope, that doesn't work either.
Yeah, if I push it
Right,
away.
and it also just like it doesn't. I think the ranch kind of, like cancels out the spicy. You need like the spicy kind of like by itself. The buffalo.
Yeah.
If you mix it up, you lose the buffalo.
Right.
So you gotta. You would think I'm mixing it all up in my mouth. Nope. You got to dip in that one, and then
It's
that
like
one.
when you put your mouth in your mouth with peanut butter. You just taste peanut butter.
Right.
You got
Yeah.
It's but like the blue cheese will grab it and it'll hold on.
It's a
to it.
canvas, and then the buffalo's a paint.
Yeah. Wow. There's our art back there.
I'll tell you what I'm getting for dinner tonight. Oh man, cheesy bread's just so fucking good.
It is kind of crazy that our brains like operate like genius mathematicians. Like if you throw something at me, I'm technically calculating the speed and velocity and like whatever to dodge it. And like you're doing that with a blue cheese and everything. Like you're calculating all that shit in your head.
Wait, are you saying that our genius in food is comparable to your genius in dodging things that are thrown at you?
I get what I think you are. Like we are making calculations
Yeah,
at all
technically,
times.
like,
But I'm
and
saying,
I'm giving you guys like
but
I'm
I'm
trying to
saying,
make
did you pick-
your like roast pizza blue cheese habits smart. So
Well, hang on a second.
But
Sorry, I
Rose
just had
Bell,
to
little
myself.
sweaty lady.
we already know this. I swear, get a new slant.
yeah, dude, the Domino's cheesy bread with all the dips, all the sauces, and then the lava cakes, bro. The
I
lava
was
cakes,
always a huge lava cake guy, but I've recently switched to the brownie cookie.
brownie cookie's fine too,
Yeah.
but the lava cakes are something that if you put that at like a Michelin star restaurant, people would be like, "Oh my god, this is amazing."
Invented by accident.
Really?
Yep.
How so?
It was, I believe, a French chef was making cakes, obviously smaller cakes, for a huge party, and he did not calculate the temperature change from putting tons of them in the oven. So
It was
he
uncooked
put
in
them,
the middle.
obviously he didn't open the cake. He just put them all out like they were normal, and everyone was like, "What the fuck is this?" And then he had to go back and kind of reverse engineer it to, I believe he was a Michelin chef, obviously.
It's
Um,
penicillin and lava cakes.
Yeah.
They're the world's greatest mistakes.
Okay, so I misspoke. His name is Jean-Georges von Gerchen, American chef. That's not my fault.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That guy deserves all sorts of credit. He is a accidental genius. Jean-Georges von Gerchen.
Accidentally overcooked a chocolate sponge cake and discovered the runny center, which he then intentionally replicated.
Yep. Isn't it great, like, when people say, like, what a time to be alive? Like, we were alive for the invention of the lava cake.
Nah, 87.
Yeah.
So, nope, not yet. Not me.
Wow.
Where are you?
Young bitch.
I was born a year later. I was 88.
Yeah. But you're living, like, through the era.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's just a bunch of people, every other generation prior, never got to enjoy a lava cake. So you always got to cherish. Even in Donald Trump's America, bro, you can go get yourself a lava cake. All right, let's do some voicemails. All right. Good to go? All right, we're going to get into our voicemails. First up, though, it's ugly sweater season, officially on sale at Barstool. I got 2 this year. The 2 most important, I think the 2 most important things on the internet this year.
Grimace and Haktua. Nice.
Did you actually know?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah. All I Want for Christmas is Haktua, and Grimace for all my Mets fans out there.
Grimace, I did know.
Yeah, this is unbelievable. One last time, you know, we got to move on from. Oh my God, we got to move on from Grimace. You can't try to capture the magic next season, but this Christmas is attached to this baseball season. So if you're a Met fan. You got to go get your Grimace.
Get that big fucking butt plug on your sweatshirt.
What's funny is I should probably have the butt plug on this one. You want to wear your butt plug sweater or your sweater about spitting on dicks? I got you covered. So go get that. They're on sale right now. I believe they're on sale, right? Are they 20% off? Or are they just on sale?
I don't know.
Either way, go get your ugly sweaters. Order them now so you can get them in time for all your Christmas parties. It's crazy that, I mean, it's like, it's the holiday season.
They're on sale? I thought it was Black Friday was where they went.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, Mariah Carey, the day of Halloween, that bitch is probably going to keep pushing. Like, I think they're going to do All I Want for Christmas Is You in, like, August soon. It was did you see, like, the video she made? It was her. It looked like she was doing, like, a Halloween costume. She was Morticia, and somebody was Gomez Addams from the Addams Family.
Uh-huh.
And then she, like, at the end, it's like The Wizard of Oz when it turns into, like color TV. At the end, like, it swipes and she starts singing All I Want for Christmas Is You.
That
on fucking Halloween,
Thanksgiving
bro.
is the second best holiday. So
Thanksgiving gets no respect, dog.
Crazy. It is far and away the second best holiday, I think, personally.
It's also
4th of July is great too, but it's Christmas, Thanksgiving, 1, 2, no question.
To me, Thanksgiving itself, I'm not a huge, like, eat until I fucking pop sort of guy. I like the food, but I have just, like, a normal plate of food at Christmas, at Thanksgiving, and then some leftovers.
Yeah, I have a normal plate of food. I have it 7 times.
I was going to say, yeah, you go back 7 times. But to me, it's also more the atmosphere. Like Thanksgiving ushers in the holiday season.
Yeah, right.
It's like your starter, and then Christmas is the closer.
It also is like.
But I guess they're trying to transfer that to Halloween now, and it's
the
like
summer.
No, Halloween's like preseason.
Halloween's preseason. The summer, like, you just don't even need holidays. Yes, the 4th of July is fun.
The whole thing is
I can do that on any day. Yeah. I don't even need a holiday.
Right.
The winter, you need more reasons to come together and reasons to get excited about stuff.
Yes.
It's Christmas 1, Thanksgiving 2, and Christmas. Honestly, if it keeps getting warmer and we stop snowing on Christmas, I might fucking flip and put Thanksgiving 1 because I don't like getting presents.
Yeah.
You're a broken man.
I do like. I actually recently have become, probably in the last year or two, like the guy who I'm like, I love giving presents. I do not like getting them.
Well,
I know that's like a weird thing. I know. Like when I was younger, I couldn't fathom. I couldn't understand that idea.
Yeah, the gift of giving. It's like, no, give me a fucking Nintendo 64, bro.
Do you just not like having to react?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
I
Also,
do like seeing how someone sees me.
I'll say this about so you mean like if you nail the gift, it's like, wow, you really you thought this is what I want, huh?
Like my mom and my brother will always get me stuff where I'm like, oh, I wouldn't have bought that for me, but it is cool. I don't know if I can pull it off. Like, if you're getting it for me, though, you think I can.
That's the best part about getting gifts as an adult is it pushes you out of like your comfort zone a little bit. The gift giving is once you have kids, man, oh my god. I actually don't know if it's better or worse. It's like part of me is like, it's amazing to like watch them have Christmas, but then part of me is like, I bought you all this shit and you're playing with one of them. You don't even remember it. Like there's a bunch of shit I'm probably just gonna rewrap and give them because they never even fucking opened them. You know, so it's like who you're giving to. I think really matters a lot as well. But I do think receiving for guys is a little bit weird because I do think we get shafted. Like I think it's pretty rare that a guy will get like something he really wants.
Yeah, I don't know. Like most of my life, I can only, like most of my life I've got what I want.
When I was a kid, I would get what I want. As an adult, it's pretty rare.
But that's because I stopped getting what I wanted when I stopped wanting for things. Like there's nothing.
Yeah, well, that's part of the problem too. But it's like a girl, you know, you can always just go with like the fastball right down the middle. You can get jewelry, you can get clothes, you can get like high heels, bags, whatever. I feel like guys kind of have different tastes, and then like most of the time we don't speak about it or tell anybody, and people don't guess right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not a.
What would you like want? Like if somebody were to give you a gift right now, that's like that would make you happy though.
It would honestly be there's nothing I want. I don't really want things.
But I also think what you just said. Like I just went and bought a jacket that I really wanted, and it was very expensive, and I just splurged and I got it and I wanted it and I'm happy. I would not want someone to do that for me.
No, I would want something
too much. Like I'll get what I need to get for myself.
I would want something where you're like, I don't think John would get this for himself, but John would like this, or I don't think John. It's something I wouldn't buy. Like if you see such a shirt and you're like, oh, John would love that. Don't get that for me. Get something where you're like, John would not get that, and I think he'll like it. That's what I like.
But I don't think most people put enough thought like that into it.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's where it's like. Yeah, you just get like the same Father's Day gift like every year. 'Cause no one's even considering that you might have some different tastes.
That's the fun of gift giving. Is like trying to find something for someone that they would not get themselves, but you think they will like or will rock or whatever, and then being like, dude, this is the person you are. You just don't see it yet.
Should we do a KFC Radio Secret Santa again?
Should we?
Yeah.
Down with that.
I think we should do. I know last year you did the whole office, and we can do that again for some content if you want to do that. But then I also think a real one with just us would be good.
I'm so bad at gift giving though. Like I'm already sorry to whoever. I like always just get somebody. Like I think I try and go for the like, oh, like this isn't what you'd expect. But like then I just like I got my sister a bunch of baklava the other day, and she like doesn't even.
But that's a good because baklava. The first time I had baklava, I was like, I never would have had this. This is fucking
baklava is so
awesome.
Fucking good. Like, oh my god.
So it's not a bad gift.
Yeah, but she was for sure like.
Okay, great.
Like
I wouldn't have had a Turkish pastry, but this is
yeah. She's
gas,
like, I have so much makeup that I want. Like there's so many things that I could have gotten her, that I feel like sometimes I lose the plot a little bit. Her birthday, yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest. Baklava for a birthday is pretty shit.
Yeah, it's just like, why'd you go that route?
If that's like, hey, I was on the way home and I like walked by this bakery and I got us like some baklava as like a nice little gift. If it's like it's my birthday gift to you and I get baklava, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck is this?
And it was like from like Missouri too. Like it was like, but like I just got by an Instagram ad, and I was like, I feel like she would like who doesn't like baklava? and then I was just like, then I lost the plot a little bit of the gift once you start like trying to go into the niche.
Well, that's what I mean with girls is you can always throw the fastball. Like,
well, girls also it's easier because like everything that we like has like fun marketing. Like there's fun packaging with the makeup, and there's fun like that. It's like a fun gift to receive.
Right.
But like with guys, it's like
guys is probably a little more unique to each person, which is hard.
Yeah.
Because you can't just be like,
I'll
just get you a bracelet. I'll
at the same time,
I'll just get you.
I've never gotten a girl any of that stuff.
Really?
I've never gotten a girl jewelry. No, one time I got a ring that was not received well. She's like, are you fucking proposing to me? Like,
yeah, no. You can't get a ring until you get a ring.
It's just a ring.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's just jewelry. It matches your bracelet.
Yeah.
But I see this isn't going on much longer, is it? It wasn't true. Like,
okay, message received.
It was like it was in a wrap. It was in a box with wrapping paper on it, and it was just like, here, I got you this.
Yeah.
Like, that's not how I would propose.
Right.
Like, are you proposing? No.
No, bitch.
We're like 20. Like, I didn't even think any of us thought that was on the table.
Yeah, how was it? Like, how old were you?
I was young.
Okay.
20
I think
is that realm.
Past 25, it gets like offensive to give a girl a ring
Yeah,
if you're
I would
dating.
agree with that.
So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
just do the whole fucking thing. Like, why are you teasing it? Like,
Yeah. I guess I was young and dumb, but like, I still just thought it was a regular present. I don't know. People wear rings.
Yeah,
where,
yeah.
Where do they acquire them? I got you one.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
if you
you
guys
can
get me
get,
for
like-
Secret Santa, you can get me a ring.
I think like I remember there was like an era where like David Yurman rings were just like so popular,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
killing it, and it was
Well,
like
Cartier,
these
yeah.
are these are very much not engagement rings. It's not a
Yeah.
rock. It's like a band or whatever. Those things I think you can do, but if you
Yeah.
get anything that's like
Yeah, it was a
you-
band. It was a band. It was like
Yeah.
I think they're called Cape Cod bracelets. It was like a Cape Cod ring. That
yeah,
went with a Cape Cod
yeah,
bracelet.
yeah.
Don't,
not going
don't,
well.
Don't get that. Unless you want to find out really where you stand. Either way,
good
it's going to
litmus
go
test.
bad.
It's
It's
a-
like,
yeah.
you're like, why isn't it real? Or what the fuck are you doing? But
Right.
it's not going to
But you'll have your answer.
Do you guys have like your love languages that you know? I
Mine.
don't even know mine, so there's not a point in this.
No, I know mine. Mine's acts of service.
Yeah.
Like if I say, hey, can you do this for me? And you get it done.
I think, yeah.
That's.
You just like to put them to work.
I'm just like
Slaves.
fucking nice, dude.
I just think slavery is my act of service.
Yes,
I'm
that is how
sure
it comes
I'm
down,
ridiculous.
comes out.
Yeah.
But like you can do that with every act of service. Like
Acts of service really sounds like
my act of service is touch.
I think
Oh,
acts of
masseuse?
service and gift giving come across as like gifts come across as like materialistic, but I think they're pretty valid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The gifts one is a little bit tough.
I also know mine is like I know when I ask you to do something, it's something I don't want to do. So I know no one wants to do it. So if you're willing to do it for me,
That
love
to,
me.
that to me
Yeah,
sounds
that's-
very
yeah.
that sounds very like real and mature and emotional and thought like there's thought behind it. When you're just like my love language is gifts. It's like you just want shit. You just want shit. Like you can explain it away the same way you did. Well, it means that you're willing to like spend time and money and effort on me, and it means that no, bitch. You just want shit. I would bet you there is like 0.01% of the male population is gift love language.
gift receiving.
Gift receiving.
Yeah.
And I bet
mean-
you like the females it's like 50%.
But whenever a guy says acts of service, I just think that they're like they just want you to blow them. Like that is like what that's like what comes out. So it's like the same thing, you know.
the service is my dick in your mouth. So wait, what? So it's physical touch, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, words of affirmation.
yeah, it's
Receiving gifts is like so far at the bottom of the list there. I can't even begin to describe it.
it's acts of service in an absolute.
Really?
I don't even like any of the other ones. Let alone
Yeah.
like quality time's cool. If we're just chilling on the couch watching TV, that's nice.
I don't like quality time.
But
My list would go physical touch, quality time, words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts.
words of affirmation might be last. Like I'm like
not
shut
good
the
with
fuck
that.
up. Like, you're so nice. Shut up.
But I view words of affirmation more as acknowledgement of what I'm like doing for you.
Yeah.
But that's not what it is, though, right? Is an affirmation like?
Yeah.
it's
so
not like
maybe,
compliments necessarily.
Yeah.
It's like, it's
Well,
like,
yeah, this says involves compliments on the list. I after having felt like very taken advantage of or like not what's the word for it? I guess like getting credit kind of sounds like shitty, but like
Heard.
no,
Scene.
no, it's like it's
Watch.
taken I feel like taken for granted. So
Yeah,
if
yeah,
someone
yeah.
is like, I really like appreciate that you did this for me, or that you do this for me on a day-to-day basis, or here are the things that like I love about you, or whatever. I'm like, oh, okay, like it's acknowledgement is
Yeah.
more what I think. I do not need to be told like I'm good looking or hot or sexy or whatever the fuck. I'm sure that's very much what it is for females, but I cannot. Receiving gifts is so far last on my list. It's not even crazy. It's not even, I don't even think about ever getting something from somebody. Maybe
Yeah.
it's because I just haven't gotten like good gifts and shit. But I'm like, every time people are like, what do you want for your birthday? What do you want for Christmas? I'm like, do not get me anything.
Yeah, and I mean
Do not spend money on me. I really, really mean it. There's not going to be some like, oh, Like, I would rather nothing than like a shitty generic gift like on Father's Day or whatever. You know, it's like, don't worry about it. I'll probably just buy my own shit. You know? All right, voicemails. HelloFresh. The holiday season is basically here, which means it's time for big, hearty meals with that wintertime like ingredients where you know you're going to get full and you're going to enjoy it, and it's going to be a real meal, and you're going to do it all with less stress, less time, and less money, all because of HelloFresh. They've made meal times basically hassle-free with delicious, home-delivered, chef-crafted recipes that come together quick, and they're less expensive than takeout. So rather than order that chicken dish or that steak dinner, you can just make it at your house in under 20 or 30 minutes, all with prepackaged ingredients and recipe cards. So you just mix, match, pour in. You don't have to worry. You don't have to know. You don't have to have any experience. You don't have to know how to cook. And you get these delicious meals right at your house without paying an arm and a leg for delivery and upcharges and all sorts of fees. I ordered like a sandwich the other day. It was $37. It was crazy.
Dude,
it was one sandwich for $37.
$110 the other night.
Oh, brutal. For one guy?
Just me.
Granted, you were ordering enough food for like 3 or 4 people.
Honestly, it was 2 things.
Really?
It was a chicken parm and then some pasta to go with it.
110.
106.
Holy moly! I mean, that's crazy. We've gotten out of control. That's, it's just not. It's not tenable. So, go get your HelloFresh. You can still have the chicken meal and the pasta. Choose from 50 different recipes every single week and not have to pay hundreds of dollars in delivery and delivery fees. So step out of the recipe rut and make fun, flavorful meals without needing to hunt for specialty ingredients. You don't have to shop. You don't have to go out to the grocery store. None of that. All right to your house. And right now you can get 10 free meals at HelloFresh.com/freeKFC. That's FREEKFC. Applied across 7 boxes, so you get a new subscription. You have 10 free meals across 7 boxes delivered to your house. That's 10 free HelloFresh meals when you go to HelloFresh.com/freeKFC and use code FREEKFC.
Getting intimate with the infrastructure. Those were the words that they found on his notes app after he ate shit on Queens Boulevard. This has been a 2-sentence horror story. I'm pretty sure there's a Twitter thread of these. I just thought I would try it out. I'm gonna go look them up, but feels like something old KFC and Fights would have something to say about.
2-sentence horror stories.
Yeah, I see these on Reddit a lot.
Wait, getting intimate with the infrastructure. And then the second part was like...
I think that meant he was on a walk and got hit by a car.
Yeah.
They're really, really hard. It is a very difficult thing to get put on the spot for.
So let me read some examples. Go back up to the top. Even though I always give my victims a 30-second head start, they never escape. Relax. This is the 21st century.
Wait, but you're not reading the second sentence.
I suppose, okay. Even though I always give my victims a 30-second head start, they never escape. I suppose once you have one of their children, they are always tied to them, even when you cut the tie.
Well, these are kind of just like menacing sentences.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
it's a horror story.
yeah, I guess.
That one I didn't quite follow. Hey, relax. This is the 21st century. No one's going in an oven. The camp guard elaborated. These days we have microwaves and air fryers. Cheating is a sin, the woman said to the kid. That's why my husband can never find out that you're not his child, she added as he threw the daughter from the cliff. I saw a comedian. I wish I could remember his name. It was on Instagram. It was like, it was something about freezing cum. And the story goes on that the woman in the story was like, yeah, I once, what was it? It was like, I once, I kept the cum in your condom. I froze it, and I used it to, like, have a baby many years later. And he was like, so I reacted, like, his reaction was, like, the punchline. And he was like, okay, here's what, it was like, 5 years ago, I fucked a girl. And I found out that she froze my cum and used it later to impregnate herself and have a baby. And she asked me like what my reaction was, and he said, well, now that you're 18, you can do whatever you want. And everyone laughed. It's like, so you fucked a girl who was 13 years old, and like the crowd like kind of calmed down, and he finished it with like, and also, your mother and I will always support you. So it's like, I wish I could give him, if I ever find it or remember it, I'll give him credit. But I butchered
funny.
the delivery, but that was the general idea of it. And I could like, he paused so long, and I was kind of watching it with just the subtitles on, and I was like, I know kind of where this is going, but not fully, you know. So it was very good. But yeah, this is a hard thing to do on the spot. Yeah. Does anybody have one that's like on the tip of their tongue? Because I feel like it's like, hey, come up with a fucking like really good comedy bit right now.
Yeah.
If I could do that like this, I wouldn't fucking be here, bro. I'd be on the road.
We could also just skip this one.
No, I think it's good. I mean, I think, you know, it'll be one that we just have to, maybe next episode, have a couple in the holster that we've thought of or something like that. 2-sentence horror stories. You can send them to us on Twitter and on Instagram at KFC Radio.
What's up, KFC Radio gang? So it was just Yom Kippur, the Jewish holiday, and you're supposed to fast, not eat for like the whole day of Yom Kippur. Only problem, for me, was that I did it on the wrong day. I did it the day before you're supposed to do it because I saw Pat Bev's tweet about fasting. So I was like, oh shit, today's Yom Kippur. I hadn't eaten already, so I was like, all right, I'm already fasting. I might as well continue. And I forgot about time zones. He was in Israel, so I fasted on the wrong day. Ended up hitting a discount double fast, double atonement for the sins. My question is, what is something you did with the right intentions that you should still get credit for? Because I feel like even though I fasted on the wrong day, I should still get credit for it and not fast the next day. But I'm not quite caught up on the Judaism rules, so I just double fasted. So something that you did with the right intentions that you should still get credit.
You totally
for.
get credit.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's like you know, if you run a marathon on not marathon day, you still fucking ran the marathon. You know.
The fasting is great. I don't. Dude. So the reason I was thinking of this first, prompted by that, but my brother's wedding was recently, and at it was I guess you could call him our trainer, like a guy we used to work out with when we were younger. My brother still does. Johnny Botello, if you're in the Fall River area, look him up. Johnny B. But he's like, you've been fasting? And I was like, no, I haven't been fasting, you lunatic. Yeah. He's like, you look good. Were you fasting? I was like, no, I haven't been fasting. And then he's like, you gotta fast. You gotta fast. I was like, what are you talking about, dude? And he's like, 18 hours is when you start like getting a little crazy. He's like, once you hit the 30-hour mark, you feel euphoric. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, once a week I do it. I won't eat for 2 days straight. I was like, what are you talking about? What do you mean once a week you don't eat for 2 days?
Yeah, that's like half the week, bro. That to me, I mean, I basically like mini fast like by accident all the time. Where it's like if I don't eat breakfast, I don't eat until dinner. So like once we start the day, like I don't eat anything, and then I get home and I am like ready to puke and I have a headache and I'm like I need to eat, but I'm like I don't know. I just basically fasted for like at least 12 hours, 18 hours, somewhere in that area. Because the last thing I had was dinner or whatever. I ate right after dinner, but I feel like I don't. I'm not fasting. I'm just being an idiot. Like you have to like kind of plan out your fasting if you're gonna really do it. Like I'm sure your last meal is the right thing at the right time. To make sure you can last. I'm just like, oh, it's been 18 hours since I had a taco.
I would literally whatever's in front of me.
But yeah, and also it's like so much worse because then I go ham. Yeah, then I'm eating like fucking cartons of ice cream and shit. It's like I haven't eaten in so long. Or if I just like had normal meals at regular times, but if you skip breakfast and then you're working in the day, it's like I don't know. To me, it's like gotta wait for me again for the 5 millionth time. Like a lunch break is I don't know. I feel like we don't do that here. We just like eat when the show is done. Yeah. But I'm always like, let me just get home. Like rather than like I should just go eat something right now. The day is done. It's like no, let me get home. But that's like another hour and a half driving, and then I gotta get home and eat. And it's like it's another 2 hours. And by the end of it, I'm like,
is it true that like men can have an easier time fasting than women?
Certainly seems the way that you bitches complain.
Like,
Put it this way, no one runs around being like, he's so hangry. That feels like a pretty female
I know
thing
when
to
people
me.
like try and like push fasting, it's like you don't want me to fast.
Yeah.
That's your problem.
However much I might look different is not worth the...
But it does like fuck with hormones, so I do know that like women shouldn't fast or whatever. But it does like, I'm like, you don't want that.
Just like anything else, I feel like cold plunging and fasting and all that, it's like in moderation, done the right way, is probably good. But not eating for like 30 hours and then jumping in a fucking 10-degree tank of water, I don't think is good for you. I don't know. Maybe
That's
I'm
the
wrong.
rebranding that you talk about. Like we labeled that eating disorder, anorexia.
Yeah.
And you guys rebranded it to a cute little term.
Intermittent fasting. I do think we'll look back on... I think the cold plunging thing has gotten pretty silly.
Yeah.
Like, I think it'll be...
I'm sure
there are some benefits in some way, but it's like, you know, the way that that people are doing it now, I think people will look back and be like, that was fucking stupid. None of that makes a difference. Like, you were just torturing yourself for like 3 minutes at a time.
I'm sure it's good, right? You could also just eat an apple instead.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
What's healthy
there's other
for
ways
you?
to achieve that amount, that feeling, yeah.
What was the question for this though?
Something you've done that you like did at like the wrong time or the wrong whatever, but you still should get credit for it. That's kind of like I feel like you find that in relationships a lot, where it's like you did something right for like the wrong reasons. You know, it's almost the opposite of when your friend was like, she didn't know I was cheating on her.
Yeah.
You know, it's like if you do something under like false pretenses, but it's like, hey, but at the end of the day, like I did it for you, I get credit for it.
I really grapple with like giving like homeless people money, because it's like, who is that really for? Is it for them, or is it for me to feel like a better person?
Yeah. I think that's a big thing too. I think we saw a lot of that with like I saw that with the fundraiser I did for that family. It's like I never really considered that people were donating to those firemen and cops because they like wanted the actual T-shirt and they wanted to be able to say that they were a part of a charity. And then when I put like, you know, what I believe to be like the most horrific situation where you can be a part of this charity, like nobody did it. And I was like, wow, you motherfuckers really are doing that for like personal or with the cops and firefighters, it kind of becomes a little bit more like political, where it's like I'm supporting the
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, you're doing all that for the wrong reason. You really are. It's like, hey, there's 3 little kids who need help, and they're like, nah, I'm good. There's not a cool emblem. It's like, wow, shit. People
also
really do that
technically-
stuff for, you know, the wrong reasons.
Everything is for the wrong reasons. Like everything is
Yeah.
for personal gain. There's no like
Yeah.
whether it's
You can
like
try-
just
you can
making
play
yourself
that
feel
game
better
and
about
trace it
yourself,
back,
like,
yeah.
which kind of sucks. Also, to answer the question, I realized I've been donating like 25% of my paycheck to a Roth IRA. Like I didn't realize that. And so like now
That's
I'm
kinda
like,
good, though.
I know,
Yeah.
but like I also like need that money right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say 25% is
Second
pretty
gonna-
high, girl. But
But
if they're
I-
matching, that's actually great
Yeah, like
for
I
you.
guess I accidentally am being
Being
very
financially
financially
responsible.
responsible.
Yeah.
Stumbled in that. I'm not happy. I'm like really not happy about it. Like
You
I
can-
really need that money.
Just you change it really easily.
No, I
You
looked
can't
in-
get that money out, but you can probably change your contribution.
Yeah.
We gotta
Yeah. Turns out we gotta.
get on life insurance, health insurance.
I gotta do
Dude,
that too.
I listened to these two talk yesterday. It was like Jackie was like, "So because we're turning 26 now, do we need to get on insurance?" And Pabs was like, "Nah." And I was like, "Don't listen to that." I was like, "He might be right, he might be wrong, but don't listen to just the casual way." He was like, "No, we're
funny
good." I was
'cause I
like,
was like, oh,
"Do
thank
some
God.
research on that one."
Yeah.
I think this open enrollment, I'm actually gonna look at things. I've never opened it.
Well, let's
I
all
just-
do it together.
I just have whatever
I will say that
I don't
whenever
know.
we switched over to recently in my doctor travels, where they were like, "We don't accept that. We don't accept that. We don't accept that." So.
really.
Yeah, I think we either downgraded or changed in a way that like you should at least know about before you.
Can we schedule a meeting with Rachel
we gotta do it before Friday.
and just do all 4 of us at once?
Hell yeah.
Can we do it tomorrow? I'm not here Friday.
Okay, let's do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
It's crazy how much people just like. I actually was I was dealing with insurance shit, so I was searching Empire and Anthem and all those words, and so all my search came up in my Gmail back to like 2016 when we first got benefits, and Resnick sent an email being like, "Here's how to enroll," and then Erica followed up with an email that said like, "A huge portion of you guys are not signing up for insurance. You need to do this." It's like, God, I hate that sort of shit. To the point that people just don't want to fucking do it. You know,
Like,
it's like
that's my acts of service. Like, you do that for me.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
Great.
You actually, you know what? I'm coming around on that idea because if I had basically an assistant who was doing all those things for me, I would probably fall in love with him. It's like, oh my god, you paid all my tickets, and you paid like, my insurance, and you took care of that bill for me, and all my taxes. Oh my god, I fucking love you. Yeah. All right, last one.
What's going on, guys? I was just thinking about the Joel Embiid situation. And do you think professional athletes would cut their salary in half if they didn't have to deal with reporters? Like, no press conferences, they're not in the locker rooms, you don't have to answer to anyone. Do you think they'd do it? Thanks.
No, because I think they would just go to a city where the media doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I think there's so few places where it really matters. It's like Philly, New York, Boston, where you have to answer, and the rest is like, doesn't fucking matter.
I don't get the problem with media. I know that sometimes they're dickheads, but like, I don't. If you just tell them, like, yeah, I don't know, I suck right now. I'm trying.
I think
I don't know what's like. I'm trying as hard as I try every single. I actually don't know what the Joel Embiid situation is.
So he has not played at all yet this year. I saw some stat. It was like he's been involved in 2 investigations. He's gotten 2 technical fouls. He's been fined, and he has not stepped on the court yet.
Really?
And he said something like, for all I've given to this city, like for these people to, they're doing like load management to start the season.
Okay.
And they're like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you haven't played in like the first 4 games. And they're like, well, we got to, take it easy. And Gilly actually had a really good rant where he was like, you played all through the Olympics. You never missed any of practices. You never missed any of that. But now that it's time for like the city that you play for, you're taking it easy. Like, fuck that. And
yeah, I guess it's easier to give the honest answers when you are playing
and playing well. Like it's,
but not even playing well. Like the Bruins is obviously a completely different situation where media and hockey is not like it is in basketball or football. But like the Bruins are playing very poorly, or they kind of started to turn. They're not being consistent.
Yeah. And
every post game, they'll be like, well, the players are saying what I want them to say. They're like, look, we're a good team. We know we're a good team. It's just not working right now. And like, I don't know. Like we're gonna keep working on it.
I think we've definitely reached a point where honesty works more than like it used to.
Yeah. I mean, I always think it's work. I don't know what that. I'm trying my best. As long as you're trying your best, you can say that.
Yeah.
Like I'm fucking trying, man. And you're right. I see it too. It's not working, but I'm trying.
Right. I think what you run into more is a problem. Like with Embiid, like him being honest right now, he was like more or less being like, fuck these fans. Like, I've done so much for the city, and you guys are going to criticize me. Probably not the best thing to be honest there. You know what I mean? And like Gilly was like, you've done a lot for the city, and we also gave you $300 million. So that's the give and take. Like, you're even. You know what I mean? So certain times, but I noticed Rudy Gobert and Anthony Edwards were talking about how Jokic like knew the play they were going to run ahead of time, and blew up the final play of the game because he like knew it, and they were being honest about that. Like Anthony Edwards was being interviewed, Rudy Gobert was on the outside, and he was like, yo, wasn't that fucking crazy how like Jokic just knew what we were gonna do? And Anthony Edwards was like, he knew more than what I knew.
Yeah.
And it was like, that's refreshing to me.
Like I don't know, the other guy was better.
They asked Devin Booker and Kevin Durant about the wall in the Clippers' new stadium. That's the section.
Yeah.
And they were like, it's awesome. He was like, I missed 2 free throws. I think Kevin Durant missed 2 free throws. Like, it works. It's effective, and I think it's great. And I was like, that's something that in the past probably would have been like, oh no, I didn't even notice it.
Right.
It's like, it was a real thing.
Of course, I noticed
talk
it.
about it.
14,000 people standing there right there screaming.
Right. And it worked. And I
guys.
missed my free throws. Like, it obviously worked. So let's talk about it. And I think we're at a place where you can do more of that now. But when you are in like a controversy, it's probably still better to just like toe the company line at this point.
Yeah, but like you can do. Like I keep thinking back to the comeback.
Bro, more than anybody, I wish that Francisco Lindor was like, fuck these people.
Yeah.
But you can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, you'll always lose in the long run.
But it's like, I mean, like honesty, yes. You can deliver everything with a spoonful of sugar or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, again, in the comeback when Nomar, found out, not on Twitter, but wherever, through the media that he got traded, which the trade didn't work. But he was just like, I thought his press conference was pretty reasonable. He's like, well, yeah, I'm pretty upset.
Yeah,
that
sucks.
He's like, I'm still committed to this organization. I'm going to still keep coming in every day. But yeah, that sucks.
You know what's so funny about that shit though?
When someone's being honest about their emotions, you can't be like they're fucking pieces of shit. You're like, I don't know, that's
But
something that happened to this person.
When people are like, I'm still committed to the organization, that sort of shit, I think that I don't know if that's honest. Because I just think, like, I was thinking about the Garrett Cole thing, where he opted out and they didn't opt in.
Yeah.
And then he was like, never mind, you know? And it's kind of like, all right, all's well that ends well. You're back on the team. We're happy. But there definitely had to be conversations where they were like, we think that you're old and not worth that money. And once that kind of shit is said, it's never the same. You know what I mean?
True, but
once you cross a certain line with a company or a team or whatever, you might be like, all right, I'll go back to work. I'm happy with the contract, but like we'll never be the same because of like you had to lay it on the line.
But that's also you just have to accept who you are. Like you're also
Totally.
you're probably Garrett Cole in 6 years. You're probably not going to be worth $40 million.
Right.
You have to accept that.
Right.
Like,
but when you think
that's
like
the
I'm
reality.
opting out, when you and your agent are like, oh, they're absolutely going to do it, and then they don't, and it's like, yeah, you're old and not worth that money, and then you all backtrack, and then the next press conference, you're supposed to be like, we're happy that Garrett's here for the next 4 years. Like, well, you absolutely had no interest in 5 years, but the next 4 years are going to be great. You know what I mean?
But
Like,
that honesty is important both ways. You have to be honest with yourself as well.
Yeah,
And you have to
totally.
go, well, they're probably right.
But I think a
probably
lot,
won't be
and
worth
I think a
$40
lot
million.
of athletes are prima donnas and people who are not honest with themselves
Yeah.
a lot. But I think this new generation of people kind of are. You know, they're at least more so than the previous ones, where they can admit shortcomings or admit the team.
Hey, you can be worth $30 million.
Right.
You might be worth $30 million in 5 years, but like right now you're not.
45.
Right.
Yeah. That's not like a big slap in the face.
Yeah.
You know? I don't even remember what the question was, but
Would they not deal with the media?
oh yeah.
I think
do
as people who work in media, I don't think the media is that bad. I think
Well,
occasionally
it's like like Francisco Lindor. I guess this is more the fans. The fans and the media kind of go hand in hand to me. It's like the fans can exacerbate the media, and the media can exacerbate the fans. You know?
yeah.
And I think when you go through some shit, those specific cases, I would like even just in like I've talked to people in Lindor's family, and they were like, it was fucking hard, it was tough, and like we're happy now that like we're over the hump and everybody loves it, but like fuck you guys that it took, you know, a Herculean effort to get support,
Right.
You know, and I think if they could have just avoided that. For yourself, for your wife, your kids, like everyone else, it might be better, you know.
Yeah. No,
But
I get that.
to the tune of. I also
But, like,
always think, you know, yes, instead of $300 million, I have $200 million, and my life is easy. I would do that.
Yeah.
But eventually, there's a breaking point. But it's not at $400 million. Like there's definitely money I would give up, leave behind for an easier life.
Like I know plenty of reporters and beat guys. Like they're not looking to fuck anyone over. They want to write their story, so answer the question. Or you can even be like, honestly, I don't want to answer that question. Like, there's something. I saw a clip the other day of Tom Cruise, much younger, and he must have just like broken up with Nicole Kidman or divorced or whatever. And the interviewer was asking him like, so do you want Nicole to remarry? And Tom Cruise is like, yeah, I want Nicole to be happy more than anything. And he's like, so what do you think about? And he's like kind of prying, and Tom Cruise was eventually just like, hey man, I just want you to know you're stepping over a line.
Like, I know what you're doing,
and
yeah.
you're stepping over a line,
Right.
And I'd like you to be polite again.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, oh, I apologize, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it's like honesty, set a boundary, be like, here you go.
Right. We all know what's going on here. Yeah. The NBA is finally back, which means it's a new season to get into the action at the DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Who's draining threes from beyond the arc? Who's crashing the boards and grabbing the rebounds? Get behind your favorite players and their prop bets that you can make at DraftKings, home of the NBA props. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple like which team's going to win. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, place your bet, place a $5 bet. You get $200 in bonus bets instantly. They're also doing that King of the Court thing where they're giving away $1 million to anybody. If you pick the person who has the most points of the night, the most assists of the night, the most rebounds of the night, they will split the $1 million pot amongst all of the people who picked that person. You're a part of the King of the Court. So they're doing a lot of cool different prop bets and a lot of different promotions. So take it to the rack with DraftKings Sportsbook, where every point counts. Download DraftKings and use promo code KFC. New customers place $5 bet. You get $200 in bonus bets. Only at DraftKings. The crown is yours. Dude, the flow is great.
Is it looking all right?
Yeah.
Modern mammals, baby.
Listen,
Look, I work with them, but you have the perfect hair. It's shampoo that I use. Called Modern Mammals.
Listen, I'll take once you start getting up there in age, you
need it.
If you can hold on to it,
anyhow. Oh yeah.
You know, and then anything that can help you hold on to it, I'll take it.
No,
but,
it's facts. I wish I had some because I hate shampoo. I think you have the hair type. If you clean it, it just looks horrible.
Yeah.
So you just don't wash it. I don't mean to turn this into an ad, but that is one of the secrets because I used to just never wash it, and then my hairstylist. So douchey to have a hairstylist. Just means I'm loyal. Just means I worked with someone who did my hair, and I was like, I like you, and we've been working together for 10 years.
Yeah.
That's man of the people.
Yeah.
And her name is Kat, and she was like, your hair is like a grease pit in an Arby's. Please. I know it was fucking. She said putting a comb through it was like putting it through wet cement. I know. I was like, I got to start cleaning it. So modernmammals.com. There you go.
I did that for a while where I was like, I don't wash my hair. I had long hair like you. I guess like us. I guess I have long hair again.
Yeah, like us.
And it was like we spent like years where I was like, our hair is great, and then we finally saw pictures of me like years later, and
you look like you got out of a pool.
I was like, you let me walk around like that?
I had that with the pandemic. Like it got way longer than I thought it did. Like Jesus hair.
Yeah.
And my daughter, she's 6. She's gonna see photos, and her dad looks like a fucking hippie, dude. like really. I mean, like to my shoulders.
Yeah.
I have no memory of
my longest
This is
probably like that. My pandemic was like what you have now. That's the longest I ever did. And I remember being like, I think I'm gonna keep it. Like I kind of like it. And then when I got my first haircut, I was like, now I look better.
It just feels good. Honestly, dude, like leaning on hair. You know, every girlfriend I've ever had, I'm such an oaf. I'm always like leaning on hair. And stuff. I was that way. I was like, Jesus, get off my hair. Watch my hair. And I was like, this has got to go.
But that all being said, you know, there are guys out there that would kill to be able to have it like that.
I know. I'm lucky. I'm lucky in the hair, and you just got to look to your grandparents, I guess.
Something I heard
like
it's your mom's
dad.
Your mom's dad.
Mom's dad.
My mom's dad went in the coffin with a head of hair.
Oh,
so
really?
I'm hoping
that's an Irish thing too. The shock of Irish Boston hair. So I'm trying to hold on to it.
But you got the hair and you got the height. That's like, you know.
You know, I didn't mean to make this like a celebration of my genes, but like height is one of those things.
You got it or you don't, you know?
It's unfair because unfortunately human beings are we're so susceptible and so impressionable. Did you know the tallest guy running for president up until the advent of television always won?
Yeah.
It was always
like, if you're
the
big,
taller.
you win.
Yeah, the big one. Yeah. Fucking Lincoln.
Makes kind of sense.
He's like, I'm with the big guy. You can't fuck with it. And we're still that basic.
No, I mean, there's always that.
This one will lead us.
It's like, you know, 89% of CEOs are like 6'2" and up.
I know.
And it's like,
well, why do quarterbacks look like quarterbacks? Like Aaron Rodgers did my podcast. I'm not just saying that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Tom Brady wanted to do it, but I said, hit the bricks. But see, I'm not a sports guy, but I was very interested in talking to him, and I was like, one of my questions was like, why do you look like a quarterback? Which is it?
Yeah.
Do people that look well, testosterone is linked to your jawline. It's also linked to hair loss. That's why Jason Statham, who's losing his hair, looks very masculine. He's got a lot of testosterone.
Very masculine.
Because testosterone is a poison. That's why drinking alcohol is a way to signal socially that you're strong. Look, I'm drinking poison, and yet I can still make love
I'm still
to you.
fine.
I'm still fine.
Yeah.
That's testosterone's the same thing. So if you have indicators of testosterone, and no one knows this intellectually, but if you have a square jaw and you're a little bit bald, like Bruce Willis bald, you look like you do have a lot of testosterone, and that looks like you're strong. You won't die from poison. You'll be around to raise the kids. So women traditionally, I'm just speaking anthropologically, can find that attractive.
Interesting.
So actually a little bit of
It all
baldness and a little
tracks.
bit of chest hair, all that stuff, that's why your Bruce Willis, your Stathams, that can look very masculine.
Wow.
Yeah, who knew?
I would have thought that testosterone or whatever, more hair would be the thing.
Totally. I think it's more body hair.
Yeah, but
then
maybe
like
you have a bald spot or whatever.
Well, it starts to kill you.
Yes.
It's trying to
killing
kill
me,
you.
I know.
And that's why you look awesome. Your body is trying to stage a coup, and you're like, fuck you. And you look fucking dope. It's so cool.
But the quarterback thing is also, there's something, you know, nature, nurture there where it's like.
Totally. Well, the coach would pick you.
Yeah,
He
right.
can't help.
It's just like, even, you just the looks of it, like size, but also like you're a good-looking guy.
And what does being a good-looking guy mean? It means like you'll have all the side effects of being confident, whether or not you are.
Right.
And then you might actually start acting confident.
That's
it's like
the
a
thing.
fake it before you make
Yes,
it. So Aaron
yeah.
Rodgers in high school, he starts dating a very attractive girl. He was probably insecure just as everybody. But
now
he
I got a
looks
hot
great.
girl.
Now he's got a hot girlfriend. Now you throw the ball like you have a hot girl.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
remember Moneyball where they're like, I don't like him.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
got a plain girlfriend.
Yeah.
He lacks confidence. I don't like it either, but that shit, there
that
is some
matters.
data
Yeah.
behind that.
And then there's the outliers. There's like
course.
a World Series MVP who's like 150 pounds soaking wet. But
That's
he
right.
can
Babe
swing
Ruth.
the stick, or whatever. Yeah.
Babe Ruth looks
But-
like he'd only be the champ at a Golden Corral. And then they're just like, look at those tiny legs go.
But it is interesting, right? That the more that you can see people with
The more that becomes a
technology
thing.
and now with it's
You're
like you
absolutely
could have
right.
been fat and ugly, but the only time maybe I saw you in the newspaper like once, so
That's
it doesn't
right.
matter.
That's
Now I
absolutely
see you
right.
on my TV every time. You better be good looking. Or,
That's why, and with the advent of televising candidates, celebrities, obviously, now you have to be a celebrity all the time, everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You need to look great when you're eating. You have to look great when you're shitting. Like Cary Grant or some old timey, nobody knew what he looked like at dinner.
Never.
If you went to take a picture of Cary Grant at dinner, you'd be stoned.
I know. I know.
Like, let's
I
kill
know.
that guy.
Isn't
He's
that
ruining
crazy?
everything.
We were talking about I think we were talking to Ashton Kutcher, and he was saying like,
Well, that's a flex. See,
Yeah.
for
Well,
me,
it was, and then he kind of
Aaron Rodgers is what did he do?
Well, he what did he do? He had that whole thing with
With Danny Masterson. They
yeah,
like wrote
he
a
co-signed a
character
rapist.
letter.
It was a little bit.
Oh, did he?
They wrote a character letter.
Then let
for
me
Danny
do this to camera. You can use that as a gift.
that was,
Why is it always got to be that?
Yeah.
right? It just-
I want
you
to
know what it
dude,
was?
where's my car, Kutcher?
I do feel bad that like he wrote something I think it was supposed to stay private and just did not.
That happens.
And that's a good rule.
That's
in life.
what writing is.
Yeah.
Writing is not private. Writing
Right,
is
you're putting
I
it
have
onto
it.
something.
I
Yeah.
have what you
Say
said
it out loud, but don't
It's
put
like
it
that
down.
Nickelodeon documentary. Some people sided with that horrible producer, and then that part of the movie, you're like,
Very, very similar. It was exactly
Yikes.
like that, where
Yeah.
it was like, well, that's not the guy I know, and it's like, oh, that doesn't really matter.
yeah.
Um,
Who cares?
But anyway, prior to all
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
he was saying like we were saying that social media was like the death of privacy or whatever, and he was saying more than that. Prior to that was like TMZ. Like being right outside the club taking pictures. Like the paparazzi started that, where then they stopped going out to the clubs and they stopped hanging out and having those kind of like cool Hollywood moments where like everyone was together and I was at the bar and he was at the table and you were playing the piano. And,
Right,
but then it was
right.
like, well, I got too fucked up and someone took a picture and now I'm on TMZ, so I'm never going again. And then
Viper
everybody
Room.
started doing
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I just watched that Anna Nicole Smith documentary. Did you watch that?
No,
No.
but she's another case of.
It was all right, yeah, but
Yeah.
she seemed to be gaming it. I'm not here to have a hot take. She seemed to be like feeding the paparazzi, and that was another way to do
Yeah, you
it.
can definitely. I would argue if you're going to be that famous, it's probably better to utilize. It's going to happen one way or
Right,
the other.
right,
So
right.
be the Kardashians. Be
Unless
the,
you're like
yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix or
Yeah.
Timothy Chalamet, like these undeniable talents,
Right.
and they'll just be. They can still get their mail sent to the studio.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
Timothy, you have a letter from a fan. And he's like,
We were
throw it
just
on the
talking
pile.
about him. He showed up in New York the other day. They were doing a Timothy Chalamet lookalike contest.
Oh wow!
And everybody showed
Half
up.
of Brooklyn showed up.
Yeah,
It was in East Village. It was
really
just
was.
all East Village.
It truly was.
All I see are Chalamets. Are you kidding?
Yeah. And he showed up to it almost looking less Chalamet than
the
usual.
yeah.
Like a hat on and a mustache that I was
Yeah.
like, I don't think I would have recognized him. But all the hipsters had the hair and all that. But he just showed up and like, stepped up to take a picture on the stage where everyone else was. And then people were like, oh fuck! Wait, it's him.
That's the
which is like
coolest.
So cool.
that is the coolest.
I love
That's the best
that.
way to be famous. Is
Well,
like
I
to
heard
do
John
those things.
Hamm, who I'm mildly friendly with, weird flex. But
Are we just gonna have a flex off the whole
Yeah,
time?
this is
here?
a flex off.
All right.
I know the vibe.
Mark Wahlberg. I once interviewed him. Okay.
Hey, how's it going? It's great to be back on the show. Ham. Well, I heard a couple Ham stories. One was he would go to Halloween parties as Don Draper, which I thought
Hell
was
yeah.
so great. And I don't know, this sounds fucking fake as I say it, but I think he might have gone to Madame Tussauds, the wax museum, and just stood really still. Which I'm like, that you gotta do.
Yep.
I do that. People are just like, do you work here? Where's the Kardashian? Where's the butt? I'm here for the butt. I was just there, actually. I was in a movie called Woman of the Hour, which I'm not here to promote, but
fantastic movie.
People should check it out,
Yeah,
right? It's really good.
really good.
Oh, dude, that's the
Anna Kendrick.
Anna Kendrick, yes.
Holy
She nailed
shit,
it.
that
Yeah.
was unbelievable.
And it's unexpected. You know, you hear a story about that kind of serial killer in that kind of situation. You have an idea going in.
Yeah.
She really subverted that in a
Right.
way that movies can be so fun.
Yeah.
You know, if someone's telling you a
Yeah.
story and you're like, oh, I didn't expect this at all, and you leave, and I'm so honored to be a part of that movie.
Watching that was like I said, like watching Blink Twice, which I saw earlier this year. With, Zoe Kravitz directed. Where like it was also her first movie, and you watch it and you're like,
oh wow,
they know what they're fucking doing.
Yeah.
Like that's I don't
All
even
I
really
heard-
know direction that well, but I knew what I was watching was cool.
Have you seen the clip of like the real footage side by side with the movie footage?
Oh,
the,
no
the dating
way.
game show.
No.
And
Really?
it tweaked like a little bit,
I
but
haven't
like
seen it.
very accurate.
Wait, some of the moments were real?
Yeah,
I didn't
like
know
like
that.
you know when she, Bachelor number 3, we're stuck in a cabin together. Like, what would you do? Like that she asked the questions were very similar, the answers were very similar. They all looked, the set. The whole
Well,
nine.
Danny, the guy who played the killer, was off the
Yeah.
chart. He even bit his nails down to the nub. So whenever you see like tights of his hands, it looks like serial killer hands.
Yeah.
I was like,
I didn't catch
that's
that.
next level. I love acting, but like now I'm really starting to be privileged enough to see like Judy Greer in this movie, the
Yeah.
best Christmas pageant ever. Like watching true actors. I'm not trying to slag myself. I'm just saying like, oh, there's a
You know
lot
what
for
you're
me to
doing.
learn.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing. I'm here to be the funniest person, but you're like trying to like make a character. And now I'm getting, it's funny, I've been in so many things, but now I'm just starting to go like, oh, that's what acting is. Acting is biting your nails down to the nib and like wondering how does this person walk and talk and think, you know?
But wait, isn't that your joke about Anthony Hopkins?
Oh, hello, Clarice.
Yeah,
Deep cut. Like he chose that. Yeah. I used to. Dude, I love that you know that joke. That was when I first started acting. I was shocked on set that the director didn't tell you what to do. I thought they did.
Yeah.
I thought directors told Brad Pitt. And I love that Brad does this. I'm not dragging him either. It's like, eat a sandwich. Like maybe you could be eating an apple. I thought they told them what to do and where to sit. The truth of the matter is that they're making all these choices. And the joke is, Anthony Hopkins, when I ate her kidney with a fava beans and an iced Chianti, and then he went, that wasn't in the script. Like he
makes that
just
moment.
decided to be fucking creepy. And you can watch all these interviews where like some of the greats like Phil Hoffman would talk about his job is to embarrass himself. My problem as an actor that I just realized was I was always trying to be the most well-liked on set, the most agreeable, and like I said, the funniest. But I was like, actually, you're supposed to be like, I know this is obvious, but like serving the movie.
Yeah.
And you watch Phil Hoffman. I don't know Phil how he was on set, but like I imagine on his list of concerns being like the coolest hang was on the bottom. It's not his job. He's trying to be a supervillain, or he's trying to be a creep, or he's staying in that zone. It's really cool.
Also funny that like, when you're a great and you improvise and that wasn't even in the script.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
But I would imagine there's also a level of where you can start to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Where it's like, just say the fucking line like you wrote it, pal.
the
You know what I mean?
first
Like
decade at least of your career is
like,
just say the.
Was with Barry Keoghan in Saltburn recently when they were going through all his stuff that was not scripted.
Really?
Have you seen Saltburn?
No, I didn't see it.
So there's many scenes throughout it where Barry Keoghan does some fucking insane stuff.
Weird shit.
like one is his friend dies and he goes to visit the grave and he's crying at the grave and he begins to disrobe and then he just starts fucking the ground.
Wow.
Like naked, and everyone was like, "That wasn't scripted. He just did it."
If that's
I'm like,
not like
what planet are you just gonna?
That's insane. I had
that's either like, wow, Barry Keoghan, like you're amazing and you might win an Oscar, or like put this guy in jail.
Yeah,
that's
fine line.
Exactly what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
insane shit in the right context. Obviously, he's on a
of
closed
course.
set. I
But
hope
the
they had some.
confidence to be like,
I know.
I'm going to do this really weird thing that even these brilliant writers didn't even think to put in there. And,
And have
it's
sex
going to
with
go.
this wet ground.
Well, this
And
is
you're either going to be like, wow, you're brilliant, or like, cut.
It's a risk.
Let's do it without the ground fucking.
It's a huge risk, and I think that's the job. That's what I'm learning.
And I
that's the
just
job.
I don't think I could ever like have the confidence within myself
I'm
or my
trying
brain
to
or
get
whatever
there.
to.
Well, when I saw
to
Woman
take
of the
risk.
Hour, it cut to me. There's a moment in the bar where it cuts to me, and everyone's laughing at Anna. I touch her hair,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
creep
yeah.
her out, and
You're-
Anna.
you did a great job.
It's convincing. I appreciate
the
it.
neighbor and the sitting at the bar and all that. It was
who
very,
turns?
Yes,
he's
yes.
like he seems like so sweet.
Yeah.
and then he turns, and there's all these parallels between me and the killer.
Yep.
which I didn't know until I saw the whole movie because it happened so fast. Anyway. When I saw it at the premiere, it cuts to Anna, and she's so charming and funny, and she's kind of like laughing, and everyone's laughing. Then it cuts to me, and my face is like devastated, like embarrassed, hurt, and a little bit scary, and everyone stopped laughing.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the first time in my career that someone's cut to me and they stopped laughing,
Right.
and that was the point. And I swear that was the
Nailed
moment
it,
where I
like-
was like, oh, this is a different kind of metric
Yeah.
by which to measure success.
Right.
And I think like something clicked in my brain.
Totally.
I'm like,
well, when
pretty-
you've been
I'm
going
more
for the
interested in
laugh
it.
for how many decades now? And
It's like
the
being
opposite
obsessed
of
with
that.
making people yawn or sneeze. Like
Yeah.
I want to make this involuntary thing happen.
Yeah.
So comedians are this very strange offshoot of people that are like, if we only talk and think about this, maybe we can master that.
Right.
Just like Rubik's Cube people or people that stack cups.
Yep.
Like we'll just be interested in laughing. But when I saw that, I was like, oh, I can get a different kind of satisfaction.
Interesting.
And when I watched this movie, the one we're promoting, Best Christmas Pageant Ever, which is out now. There, we did
Incredible
it.
reviews.
Yeah.
It's won 2 double donuts.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
tomatoes,
Yeah.
Roger Ebert, 3.5
3.5
stars.
stars?
Which, by
Oh,
the way,
wow.
it's bullshit. He gives 4 stars. That's,
Do we know the reason behind that?
I think
Four just
yeah.
seems like a weird number.
Ebert?
yeah.
I didn't know this.
It's
I feel like you'd either 5, maybe 3. 4 seems like
Yeah.
a strange number to me.
I agree. 4 was, yeah, I think it should be
Because
5.
I think of 3 like gold, silver, bronze. Like there's 3s, and then 5
Yeah.
just a round number.
4 is a
4.
little bit weird. But he did 3.5.
3.5. It was great.
This is a new experience for me as well, to be a part of something that the audience is scoring really high and the critics is like as well. It's also my first. Is that right? No, I've been like a voice in other theatrical releases, but this is the first time I've been a part of an ensemble trying to open a movie and all this stuff, and people are really responding
Great,
to it.
man.
The one thing that I'll say without sounding canned is it's a really warm movie.
Yeah.
And it's something I watched it with my wife and daughter. My daughter liked it and my wife liked it. How do you get that?
I was gonna
Yeah.
say,
That's a
if
special
if it's your first foray into that, doing a Christmas
Yeah.
thing is
Yeah.
probably a pretty great spot to land, right?
Dude, something my parents can watch, but also that it's not boring. It's not like a church movie. It's got the heart of that vibe, I suppose, but anyone can enjoy it.
Christmas
that-
movies, if you can get in the rotation.
That's what you
of
want.
Christmas
Yeah.
movies.
Well, our Christmas
You're
tradition
good,
is
you
we
know?
build a fort on our couch with pillows and sheets and stuff, and we spend Christmas Day just watching Christmas movies.
What's your favorite Christmas movie?
Elf. I mean, we gotta go. Elf.
Was Elf the last great
But Elf
one?
that's a great point because
I
it's
feel like
relatively
Elf-
new.
yeah.
It's not any more new, but like it's
I
probably
think
the most
it's
modern. What was the one with
maybe
Giamatti
12
that
years
came out
old.
recently that people?
Oh, the holiday.
people-
I'm sorry.
the
Holdovers.
The Holdovers.
People
Holdovers.
start to throw in there a little bit.
Holdovers is great.
But like
I'm
it's
gonna-
not you're not cracking into the rotation of the big dogs.
I think
But-
Holdovers is way more an academia
Yeah,
movie.
I agree
It's
with
more
that.
like
It's
a
just
Dead Poet
that could have
Society.
happened.
It doesn't.
I don't know
If
what
it was
people
spring
say.
break
It's
instead of
very.
Christmas
I think
break.
because it came out Christmas time or
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, but like
Yeah.
people are like it's a new holiday classic. And I love the movie. It's a great movie. I don't really.
That's
get
a
that
marketing,
holiday.
and there's nothing. Marketing isn't a dirty word. But
Right.
That's another
Right.
way to say like, hey, maybe you could buy this and watch it every Christmas. You know what I mean?
I think Elf would probably be the latest,
Yeah.
newest.
My deep cut is Family Stone. Have you ever seen?
Oh,
Family
Oh,
Stone?
yeah.
I love the
If you-
family stone.
Family Stone is I'll Be Home for Christmas, the movie. It's like a sad
Yeah.
Christmas
Yeah,
movie. So it's
yeah.
heartfelt. Diane Keaton is so good in it.
Yep.
That's my favorite.
That might
Elf
be
is
my
the
favorite,
family
too.
favorite. Yeah,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
I've never met another person
very
other
good.
than
Me and my
people
friends
that I-
like go away every winter, and we go away and we just kind of like do Christmas together, just us.
Yeah.
And we do it a little before Christmas. We spend Christmas with our families, but every Saturday morning while we're away, I'm like Family Stone time, and like everyone agrees.
I look
Everyone's
forward
like,
to it. I've watched it every year probably since it came out.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic. And it is those people that are just a little bit more I don't want to say solemn, but like I like the depth of the sadness. Sometimes Christmas can start feeling a little too saccharine, a little too like, everything's fine.
A little gravitas to it.
Well, it's also winter. Everything's dying. It's this new, it's getting dark. You know what I mean? Like it's winter. Let's lean into that.
Yeah, listen, there's also a whole bunch of people who probably fucking hate Christmas.
Dude.
You know, if you're alone, if you're sad, if you're whatever, like the holidays are like, oh, I can't stand the holidays.
Christmas is not an easy time for me. It's taken me a lot of reprogramming. My wife is a huge Christmas person, and I didn't know this, but there was just, without getting too into it, there's just, I've sort of felt left out of Christmas. Like everyone's rocking it, and I'm like, I have so many memories of you're with your family, and if your family's kind of a little turbulent, you remember those things.
Yeah.
So here I am feeling like Frankenstein on the beach. You know what I mean? I'm wearing the jacket and the sand, and there's the bolts.
Merry Christmas, guys!
Ho, ho, ho! You know, like I'm faking it. But having a daughter and being married to my wife, and then like absorbing her holiday traditions has helped me get into
Kids
it.
make
But
a big
Family
difference.
Stone.
When you can go back and like when you're an adult and you don't believe in Santa and gifts are not a thing anymore. It's kind of like I gotta travel, I gotta be with my family, all that.
It can just
but
be an
when
obligation.
the magic comes back around,
Dude, for so many of us, I'm glad you brought this up because I don't want people to feel alone. But for so many of us, November rolls around and you start guilt negotiating. Like, how guilty will I be if I don't go home for Thanksgiving?
I genuinely
how guilty will I be if I don't go home for Christmas?
Especially, I think
is this the spirit of the holidays?
in marriages where it's like, are we going to do it with your side or my side or this side?
It's like a UN. You have a UN meeting. You go in the situation room. Is Grandpa going to be alive in 2 years?
There was one Christmas. It was like quite literally that Vince Vaughn movie, 4 Christmases. We had to do this house, that house, her house, my house. And we had a dog at the time. It was a new puppy. We decided to bring that around. We learned that he gets car sick.
Great.
That way. And I remember he threw up in the car. And we were probably going to like our 3rd or maybe 4th spot. And he threw up in the car and he like shook off. And some of his spit and vomit like landed in my mouth. I was sitting in the back of it. And I remember being like, I'm fucking done with Christmas. I don't need any more tinsel. I don't need any more movies. Or I'm going the fuck home and shutting the door.
What sucks is when you're having a negative time and everyone's telling you should be having a great time, that can feel gaslighty and infuriating.
Yeah.
So I like a sadder Christmas movie. And what I like about the one that we made here is it touches on some of that dichotomy. You have like the church people that are pretending to be cheery, but they're really trying to ostracize these kids. And at the end, everyone's invited to the party, not just the good people, not just the happy people, but the broken people and the sad people or the poor people or whatever it might be. The outsider is not only allowed into the pageant, and it's not a spoiler, everybody knows that's what the movie is about, but they're celebrated. And that's the story, whether you celebrate Christmas or not. I'll watch that all day. It's like a hug became a movie, and I was fortunate enough to be in it and get to be funny at certain points, just like a dad. You pick your little dad moments. But at the end of it, you feel like Christmassy, not in the materialistic way and not in just the sort of like...
No, it's like heartfelt. There's something.
Yeah, it's heartfelt.
Yeah.
Like Elf, I have absolutely no issue with Elf. Elf is going for a different thing. Elf is like Santa and the elves. This is like, hey... Isn't it sort of incredible, and I mean this, that we spend 1 month of the year, we should do it more often, but there's 1 month of the year where you are a little bit culturally motivated to be a little bit more patient, a little bit more kind, more understanding, more forgiving.
Yeah.
And that stuff, that's why when I watch the movie, I'm just bawling. And it gives you a good 10 minutes after the cry to like, so you can covertly wipe your tears off and kind of get yourself together for the walk into the lobby. But it's a very touching movie, and I can't say enough about Judy Greer. She was great.
Yeah. Is it interesting for you? I'm sure it is, but like, you have such a faith-based background.
Yeah.
Is doing a holiday movie...
Well, yeah, that's a good question. It was sort of like, I read it with great interest. Let's put it that way, because I was like, how are they going to take on the message of Christmas? And there are so many different ways. I was raised evangelical. I'm still a very spiritual person, but I wouldn't affiliate myself with any group. But I was, wondering if they would get it right.
Yeah.
I find oftentimes when people try to show the church on in movies and stuff, it's always just like the fucking... I just want to say the C word here, but like just the worst people being passive aggressive and like, bless your heart, we'll pray for you. Like just like evil fucking people that haven't had their heart touched by anything, and they're just phony and awful. And then, or Jesus is just here to wag his finger and tell you to like turn or burn or repent.
Right.
So I was like, all right, I'll read this. And when they really threaded the needle perfectly, meaning it's not an overtly religious message, I don't think, but it is at the heart of, I would say, most spiritual traditions, which is like, can we just come together?
Right.
The quote that I like is,
message should always be.
we forgot we belong to each other.
Yeah.
It's us.
It's the
us.
anti-conclave.
Yeah. It's the anti-conclave. That's on the
Balance
poster.
it out in the theaters.
It is. Yeah, you need both in art for sure, but I think, there's certain movies, like I really didn't like the Joker movie. No, I'm not trying to throw shade on
I don't
it.
think anybody did.
But I don't even like just that sort of incel, angry, murderous, random dude.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit more old school. I'm like, why? Where's Batman? Joker without Batman just doesn't work for me. I'm like, someone punch this fucker in the face. Like, show me
Look how
that he's
skinny he is.
Yeah.
And he's not even tall.
He won't stop dancing. That's when he's weak. Get him while he's dancing. He frolics.
Look at all that hair. There's no testosterone.
But you see it in a lot of our classics. Like I just was rewatching Mission Impossible. It's like I want to see loyalty. I want to see camaraderie. I want to see good triumph over evil. And people are like, life isn't that way. What's up? You hate Mission Impossible?
Oh, I don't. I love it. But you're describing Fast and Furious, friend.
I hate Fast and Furious.
Oh, you're in the wrong building. Then,
I shouldn't say I hate it. When you mention it in the same sentence as Mission Impossible, I want to say, watch your mouth, sir.
Okay.
I want to say, watch your mouth.
I get it, but I'm right. It's the same movie. I love them both. I love them both.
I don't think you're wrong. I just think the different, when you go to like a really great restaurant and a really bad restaurant, you have the same dish. A lot of people can't tell the difference between those dishes. They are the same dish. I'm not putting you down. Sometimes
you're accurate in
a chicken
describing.
parm at Papa Gino's is fucking good. It is.
Yeah.
And you go to a 5-star restaurant, you have it. Sometimes it's very, very similar. But those of us that know can go, is that oregano? And that's when you watch T. Cruz. God love you, T. Cruz. When you see T. Cruz and he's doing the stunt practical, Vin Diesel in front of a green screen just doesn't cut it.
No, you're 100%.
That's the only criticism.
You're 100% right on that.
But
yes.
if you can fucking put that out of your mind, you're in for a good time. I was at the premiere of the Fast and Furious where they dragged the bank safe. The one on the highway.
Yeah,
It's a fucking great movie. We shut the fuck up, green screen. Green screen. Watch the movie. Eating popcorn, slamming milk duds. It was a great time. So.
We actually had the executive producer of Fast and Furious on. He said, obviously not to the full extent of it, but they really did do that in Brazil.
Oh, I believe it.
There's
just a few where you can tell from the lighting. I have the same problem with Justice League. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, the lighting shouldn't be that perfect.
Right.
Everyone looks like they're in a news studio, and then they put Atlantis behind them. I'm like, get
Justice
the
League.
fuck
I
outta
actually
here.
I turned off, and it's one of those things too because I knew going in. But when they first showed Henry Cavill, and you could just so clearly see
The mustache.
the mustache,
That was
I was
so
like, never mind,
stupid.
I'm not doing
Have you
this.
seen
such
one
a
of my
dumb
favorite
way
things
to
on
set that
YouTube is to
up.
look at the amateur. By amateur, I mean not paid professional, but they're not amateur by any other metric. The amateur people that fix bad CGI.
Right. The amount of talented people
Nailed
out
it.
there.
Really?
You can
Yeah.
watch that scene in fucking whatever that fucking shit at Justice League.
Yeah.
With the mustache. They removed it perfectly.
No
You can
way.
also, this is worth watching, like for real, not just podcast fodder. It's worth watching. Go on YouTube and type in Robert De Niro de-aging Irishman fixed. People
do that.
fucking you can
Because-
intercut if it's a video
because
podcast.
that was,
it's
like, so
fucking perfect.
distracting and
it's
stupid.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
All
But
men
he's,
as
like,
we get
moving all
older,
slow and kicking,
dude, I know.
But like, this
It's
perfect
so
face.
bad. It's so bad, and it didn't have to be.
I actually liked The Irishman. I've never rewatched it because of that.
There
scene.
it is. There it is. Look!
Yeah, I mean,
Look! They fucking fixed his face.
it's crazy.
They de-drooped him. Look at that.
Yeah.
Come on. What is it?
Yeah.
And when you know that the bad version cost $40 million, you're just like, just call this guy.
Wow, it does look so much better.
It's unbelievable. Here's the scene you were talking about where
They
he's
also
got
like
the Gumby
they
legs.
made such a discussion about it that it was like once you know it, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
It's Tom Hanks has that movie coming out where they
already came out.
Did it come out?
Yeah.
They de-age him.
And
Oh, you haven't seen this one?
No.
is it bad?
I haven't seen it.
Yikesy.
It's so the concept of the movie. It all takes place on one plot of land, and it goes back to like I think Revolutionary War, but then eventually a family builds its home. Tom Hanks meets Robin Wright.
Wait, that's him?
Yeah. And like so, it's all. I think I believe the entire movie is shot from this camera angle right here.
I thought it was one room.
Yeah, but I think largely it is. But there are definitely scenes of like war and stuff like that.
Wait, the whole movie takes place from one angle?
It's like everything that's ever happened here in this one family, this one house, this one place. Over the course of however many years, but
That's him de-aged, huh?
Yeah, I actually
that looks
don't
pretty
know.
good.
Yeah, that one doesn't bother me as much because I don't know. He's a weird guy where I don't know. I feel like he always has kind of looked like that.
These are the things. Yeah, he does kind of look like that. But those are the kind of things where you can't quite put your finger on what's wrong with it.
But
yeah,
it's just
something's wrong
unsettling,
with it.
Yeah.
It's like in video games how they're always a little cross-eyed. There's something just a little bit off.
It's like in 30 Rock when they talk about the uncanny valley.
It is the uncanny valley.
The Polar Express, like it's get me out of there, get me out of there.
Not unfortunately, that's become one of our Christmas movies. Actually,
Really, I've never seen it still.
Yeah, something about it. My daughter really likes it, and I like it. And I can't tell you why I like it. It's part of the creepiness of it is super fun. And it's back when movies had like, there's just a kid that talks like this, and he sucks. No, shouldn't we get on the train now? And you're like, I miss a movie where a kid just fucking sucks. This kid sucks.
Fuck this kid.
He has no redeeming quality. He's like, that kid's in my seat, conductor.
Who's the worst kid in a movie?
I mean, other than that kid, what comes to mind is Bad Santa, not the kid, but the kids that bully that kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Those kids are shit.
Thurman Merman's great, though. That kid, Bad Santa's great.
One of my favorite things, we watch Bad Santa every year as well. And the Thurman Merman, is that his name?
Yes. Yeah.
Thurman Merman?
Yes.
This kid isn't...
I think...
He's
Billy
not
Bob
getting bullied
has
enough.
the same voice as he goes, Thurman Merman.
Thurman
I'm
Merman?
pretty sure that's it, yeah.
On my head? How I'm going to drop you on your head, dipshit. But Thurman Merman, you can tell, actually, look, this is a little Hollywood inside baseball, but you can see the reshoots in Bad Santa because Thurman Merman ages. I'm talking like a year.
Really?
So one of the things that's really interesting to me is when movies do reshoots, obviously.
Yeah.
Because people like that I've worked with, Judd Apatow, for example, tell me how important it is. You can save a movie. So you make the movie, it's not working, and someone comes in, and almost always it's to add more heart. And if you watch Bad Santa, every scene that's a reshoot, because Thurman Merman is suddenly 6 inches taller and like has a stubble, is when they're putting out the candles with the sand in it on the. It's all the things that progress the emotional story.
Got it.
Yeah.
So they made a very
bit.
and you can see it. Watch Bad Santa this year, and anytime Thurman looks like he could drive a rental car, that's 20. That's 25. Notice that it's a scene that resolves the heart.
They will literally like call you back to shoot again.
Yeah, it's a very expensive process.
Because I was gonna say, like, if calendars don't line up and all that sort of shit, like you know,
it's
I'm
off
sure
the charts.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things. Like, remember in Fight Club where they're like, if the cost of out of court settlements is less than the cost of a recall, we won't do one.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with a movie. It's like if they think they'll make their money back, they won't do it. But if they're like, let's redo it.
At the end of the day, it's all
the cheddar cheese. Cheddar cheese.
So are you an actor now? Like, are you going to focus on just acting?
Buddy,
Are
it's
you still
funny.
doing-
What's hapning with acting? I don't even know.
Yeah.
Like, that's
What
a
even is
conversation.
acting,
What
bro?
even is it? What is money? The fucking lava lamp conversation. What is?
But you
a
really can say that
state?
about comedy because it's like, all right, now stand-up comics are podcasters and they're also actors and they're now apparently like political consultants and shit like that. It's all getting very blurred.
Huge movement makers. No, I've always enjoyed acting. I started in improv, and I want to continue acting. The sort of bigger question I'm raising is like, we sort of Somebody made the comparison that it's almost like we're in a town, like show business is a turn of the century town, and like there's the first railroad just got built through it.
Yeah.
That's AI. That's
Right.
TikTok, all this new stuff. So there's just like a change afoot.
Totally.
I'm an optimist. I'm like, we'll always be interested in watching human beings react in authentic situations. We're not unique in that. Like silverback gorillas, we'll look at photographs of other gorillas. Like we love seeing real human stuff. We're at a point now where AI is pretty much capable of creating this podcast. But I would wager that one of the things people enjoy that are listening right now unconsciously is the fact that it's real people.
Totally, totally.
They can make the sounds and they can even the ums and the foibles and all that sort of stuff. They can do it.
But if you know,
But
it's actually a
human
lot like the
experience-
de-aging too. It's like
It is.
if you did it well and you didn't tell me, you might have got away with it. But once
Yes.
it was talked about so much, and then I was
Yes.
watching it,
Yes.
it's kind of the same thing with AI.
I think being a human person, most things that we do, I won't say all, but almost all of the things we do are an excuse to connect. It's not movies.
Right.
It's talking about the movie with people. It's not the movie. It's seeing yourself in the movie, relating to the character in the movie.
Sure.
So I think we're coming to a time where we will see the ability to give us what we want effortlessly. And we'll go like, oh, it wasn't actually the painting. It was making the painting. It was posing for the painting. It was meeting the artist and the unveiling of the painting and the selling of the painting, all that stuff. We just want to connect with each other. So once, if an AI just starts giving us what we want, we'll realize what we want wasn't actually what we wanted.
Yeah, you shift what you want.
Yeah. And
or
I don't
or you
think
never knew what you wanted in the first place until
precisely.
It's an interesting thought.
So what I'm saying is, I don't know what the future of show business is, but I have a feeling we will continue as humans always have to create excuses to hang out.
there's always been, I'm sure with the green screen and CGI and special effects, it was the same thought every time.
I agree.
And it just kind of keeps going.
They said that on The Simpsons. They were like, I forget what the exact numbers were, but they were like, we used to draw The Simpsons by hand, and it took us, I'm making this up, but it took us 3 weeks to make an episode. Now we have computers and everything's rendered and generated. It takes us 3 weeks to make an episode because they just got more interested with their work.
You do more.
That tends to be what we do.
Right.
So we'll be surprised
AI will
with
cut
what
out
we do.
this part of it, but now you're working on that part of it instead or whatever.
Again, I could be wrong, but human beings are wonderful at surprising each other and showing off. And when I say showing off, I mean in the way that Michael Jordan was showing off. I mean like taking a tool or a skill and flourishing it for other people to be wowed. So I think we'll
I also think that people are always very quick, and I think like part of we want to kill something. We want to say it's the death of blank.
Yeah.
And like podcasts with the death of radio. Radio's doing pretty good.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like movies with the death of plays. Broadway's ripping. Right?
Yeah.
No one's gonna go to museums anymore because we have now like access to the internet. People go to a lot of people go to museums.
Yeah.
There's
That's
like
right.
things don't really die. They might
Change
be a little smaller, but like there's always
right.
I
some
do
new
wonder
version.
about things like I saw on I saw the other day that Christopher Nolan planted 500 acres or whatever of crops for Interstellar. I'm like, well, that's happened now that you can just like
Probably.
make those,
Yeah,
you know what I
probably.
mean?
Yeah.
But does that even need to happen? Did he need to plant all the
Christopher
to
Nolan's
drive
still gonna do that shit.
Yeah, he will forever. But like, will the other directors or whoever be like?
Yeah, I think there will be a certain evolution of what we consider appropriate. Yeah, for sure. I'm not saying that's inappropriate, but the more things get streamlined,
It's
we
like-
might look back and be like, you used to shut down 7 city blocks?
Yeah.
Or you used to,
Right.
fill a stadium with, I don't know. It's a lot of
Right,
stuff. It's a
right.
But as I said that, I'm like, that's a lot of background actors that want to work. So it's hard.
Yeah,
for me
that's
to-
true too. You got to think about that element of it as well.
It's hard, yeah.
But so and as far as the comedy, like it's still, I always think of comedy as maybe it's when you're trying to make it, and once you've made it, you can kind of take your foot off the pedal a little bit. But it does seem like one of those things you have to do like 100%. And when you're now
You mean
acting
stand up?
and stand up.
It's funny when you look at my career from a high altitude. It sort of looks like sometimes people say it's not exactly what you're saying, but like, oh wow, you did these movies and you're doing stand up and you're doing this. There's so much downtime, like it's crazy. Like it when you look at the aggregate, like the summary, it's like wow, you did a lot of stuff. From where I am, boots on the ground, I'm like it's pretty slow and pretty ordinary life. There's little pops. You go to Winnipeg, you shoot the best Christmas pageant ever. Okay, that's 2 months.
Right.
The rest of the year, I'm touring, I'm going to the clubs, and I love that. And I think, again, I could be wrong. Maybe this will be in some documentary where I'm the joke. It's like, and look what they thought. But I do think people don't go to live stand-up shows to hear the material. That's why you think you're going. It's what I said before. You're going for an excuse to be together, and that's what we call an experience. You want to merge with an audience. The audience wants to merge with the performer, and that double merging is what we call a show, and it feels so good and so distinctly human. So that is, stand-up is still... I always consider stand-up my wife, like my professional wife, and I sort of have little affairs.
Got a little side piece.
I got a little thing with the best Christmas pageant ever. Don't tell my wife, all right? My guma. My guma over here. It's just a Christmas thing. It's just a Christmas thing. We saw each other under the mistletoe. But I mean, like, that stand-ups know that. I mean, there's a certain kind of... I won't call it brokenness. You could try and sound cool and be like, I'm broken. But there's a certain feeling you get doing stand-up that is very different from a movie. A movie is a much more social thing. For me, it was about hanging out with Judy Greer.
Yeah, whole cast.
It was fun.
Co-stars.
I got to know the director. I got to know the camera guys. It was a communal. It's like summer camp. It's exactly like summer camp. And stand-up is like being an assassin. And I really like being an assassin. I like it. I like, I have this family. I love my family. And I just go out one weekend a month. I'm a big balance person.
Yeah.
I don't want to burn out. I don't want my daughter to be like, you were never there. So I'm privileged. I go out one weekend every month. And I feel like Hitman. I get my little silver briefcase. I shave my head. I got a little UPC symbol on my back. You fly into town.
What a great game.
People go. Yeah, I love those games. People go, oh, you're going to Pittsburgh. Are you going to the Andy Warhol Museum? And I'm like, what? I'm here to kill the governor.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like, are you insane? Me and Tom Papa, the great comedian, we were laughing about that. People go, we had a gig together in Vegas. And he was like, my wife said, did you bring your swim trunks? And we just both laughed for 20 minutes. You think I'm going to go swim? Well, it's funny. It's cool on one hand. Of course I'm not. I'm an assassin. And on the other hand, really, like, you're just sitting in a dark room with light coming through Venetian blinds, waiting. Like in Jason Bourne movies, you're the asset.
You're sitting
and you're activated. And you get on the moped and you go to Tangiers. And you do the job. But that's sort of the opposite of parenting. I make my flight, I get to the club, I do my time, I leave. It's very regimented and pleasant. And then the rest of my life is, I have gum in my hair and my daughter's starting a fire in the kitchen.
How old is she?
She's 6.
6, yeah.
Which is the best.
Yeah.
And I love her. You were talking about Christmas. The thing that I love now, 6 is prime Christmas, right? So she believes in Santa and that lore is strong. And we've only been doing that maybe since she was 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And the first year that she was old enough that we told her all about Santa, we put out the cookies. It was the first time though. And I put them out and then I was like, all right, let's go to bed. And my wife is like, we got to eat the cookies. Yeah. And I swear to God, I was like, oh my God, I'm Santa. I like ate the cookie and I was like, it felt like a holy moment where I was like, Santa is real and he's me. Like Santa is real in the same way that United Airlines is real. United Airlines is a fleet of airplanes and a couple corporate headquarter buildings. But it is real. It's United Airlines. Show me United Airlines. You can't touch it. You can show me a pilot and a plane. That's all the parents that make up Santa Claus.
I thought
That's very cool.
Isn't that weird?
My daughter is turning 9, and I was like wondering, is it
time?
Yeah, it's time. And then she was looking at the gray in my beard, and asked me if I was going to turn into Santa Claus like in the movie. And she was very concerned. She was like, I don't think I want you to do that. Like, I don't want you to be Santa.
Because you'll be so busy?
Whatever. I actually didn't really get to the root of why she didn't want to. She was just very much like, she was like, are you going to become Santa? And I was like, I don't think so. Like, would you want that? And she was like, no, like, I like you the way you are. And I was like, we're still good. We're having a legitimate conversation about whether I will turn into it like Scott Calvin did. She still believes.
It's beautiful. It's so fun having a kid. That takes away all those Christmas angst because it's not about me. anymore.
Yeah, it's not about you anymore. It's just like making sure it's.
That's
good for
the
them,
whole
but-
thing with a kid.
But
This is
yeah,
not
and,
about
and
you
I
anymore.
think if you do have a new Christmas classic on your hands, that's a very cool thing to be able to like.
I hope so.
Watch and share with them.
And Dallas Jenkins, the director, was trying to make it like a little Wes Anderson, little Christmas story, and a little Norman Rockwell. And I watched it for the first time at the premiere. This was just like 4 days ago, and I was like, he did it. I'm not just kissing his ass. You know what it's like doing promo with a guy who doesn't really like the movie.
Yeah. Right, you can tell.
You just don't bring it up.
Yeah, right.
So I'm saying I'm like a hostage of my own accord. I am safe. They are treating me well. The best Christmas pageant ever is a good movie. Like it is. You'll feel good. We need that. A big thing for me is if you don't, I'll broaden it. I love this Bruce Springsteen quote where he goes, "You don't remember the album going platinum. You remember the ice cream sundae." So because of that, the times I've had things like when I publish my book, my wife and I go get an ice cream sundae. And it's true. I don't remember the phone call. I don't remember even the press tour. I remember sitting with her and being like, this is for the book. This is inside. So similarly, Christmas or whatever you're celebrating, but the holidays, if you don't take time to step it out and like going to the theater and seeing a Christmas movie is a great way to have a Christmas. Yeah. Otherwise, it's January and you go, fuck, was there Christmas? Like it's just a blur? Or worse, you just did it for other people. Like you were just like we do, like doting, like trying to figure out our parents or whatever. Go take your family to the movie. I took my daughter, and it's a tearjerker. It's one of those movies. It's funny, it's fun, and at the end there's just a good old fashioned cry, like a Christmas cry.
Yeah, that's great, man.
It's great.
That's what it's
so
all
I'm
about.
proud to be a part of it.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So that's out
this weekend.
No, Friday, November 8th.
Okay.
November 8th. Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad.
But in the city comes out. It's airing tonight in the city if you want to go see it.
Oh, there you go. Great.
Awesome,
before we let you go, I want to tell you.
There's a lot of nudity, I should tell you. There's a lot of sexy stuff.
I want to tell you one story before I will let you go. A couple years ago, I went through a phase where, like, when I was exercising, I would listen to comedy.
Yeah,
which is a unique thing to do, but I did it.
You want to take your mind off it?
I no, but I do remember him describing. He said he was like jumping rope and like laughing, like shriek laughing, and that
like
his neighbors must have been like, "What the fuck is wrong with this guy?"
That's a serial killer there.
I would do like station workouts, and I would jump rope on my porch. And I would go inside, and I had a boxing machine. So I'd go inside and I would beat the shit out of it. Wow. And I'd come back out and I'd jump rope. And so all my neighbors heard was things being beaten and then maniacal laughing.
Wow.
And things being
with
beaten.
Rhythmic jumping.
Yeah. And Dirty Clean was the album I was listening to at the
time.
Wow.
I'm really, I did that at the Aladdin Theater in Portland. And I love that space. And I'm going back on December 20th. And we're going to film it for my next special. That's how much so that special, when I think about it, it's a magical one for me. It's a great space for me, and I'm happy to be going back there. And not to turn that generous story into a plug, but like, I've never gone back to a theater and a city to do another special, and I'm really proud of this hour. So I hope people like it. PeteHolmes.com for tickets to that. The first one sold out, but the second show there's still tickets.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But I'm really glad you like that. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Which was, that joke where I go, we're on a planet. And everything's made out of atoms. That doesn't make any sense. The thing I like to talk about that bit is that there's certain bits that don't work reliably. Meaning, if you're doing a joke about how everything's made out of atoms and that's weird, and that my hand is atoms and this mic stand is atoms, and when we ask science, this is the line: why don't these atoms go through these atoms? Like why? The answer we get from science is we don't know. That's an unknown in our reality. Is why do these atoms repel these atoms? That's fucking insane.
Crazy, dude.
That's fucking
to get as far as they
insane.
do, but then also be like, but
well, that's the beauty. That's the beauty of science. Is they say we don't know. That's the right thing to do, and there's theories, but nobody knows for sure. And then you add on top of that this collection of atoms, which is changing all the time. While we've been talking, some of the atoms that were this microphone became me. Some that were me became this microphone. We're constantly shifting. What we are is constantly shifting. But this collection of atoms is aware that it's atoms. Like, has become self-aware. that doesn't make any fucking sense. So I just, mostly the joke is me just saying facts like that and screaming. That is not a reliable bit. So I would go out to wherever, clubs, it doesn't matter. I'm not putting down any of these places, but you go to Chicago, you go to Indianapolis, it doesn't, it doesn't matter. Even great comedy cities, some crowds would just be like, what is this guy? So I say this for like comedy archive purposes. There's certain jokes you stop doing when you're at the clubs, and then you just bring them back for the taping. So that joke was like an unreliable car. It would start half the time. So I just dropped it from the act. But then I do the special. I do that bit. That was like the most viral bit from that show. Same thing with I Am Not For Everybody. The joke about God, that could be kind of a rocky joke. That becomes the most popular joke. So there's a subtle discernment to going like, it might not work in the clubs, but it's going to have its own life on the internet. And we have to respect our own material.
How did one of my favorite bits of yours, and I have many, but when you bring your wife home and it's you have a busty wife. Oh, and it's like, this is what I'm into. Mom and dad, this is what I'm into. This is what I'm into. And you're like, you can't put a tarp over the porch and be like.
Right. Nobody sees a house with a tarp over the porch and goes, that house doesn't have a porch. You still see it. You go, that house has some big old porches. Yeah. And that's my wife. I swear to God, my whole life I've been a curvy woman person. And I never really dated them because it was too embarrassing. To be like, that's what reps my engine. Hey, Dad, get a look at this. It's so fucking gross. I don't remember if it made the joke, but when you meet someone's partner, that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
If they're being honest. A lot of people aren't honest about what they're into. I'm married to someone I am into.
This is what gets my dick going.
This is what sends blood and semen to my shaft. It's fucking nasty. Keep that shit to yourself. Why are you introducing your mom to that? Mom! Look at what makes me go, wow, 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 wow. We should have the holidays together. Look at that ass. Look at that ass. It's fucking gross.
Keep that's nasty.
It's nasty. You should just say, I have a wife. You'll never meet her. What are you, a pervert? You want to see what I like? You're fucking nasty, Dad. You're fucking gross. Families should never meet other families.
Not your business. That's it. Man, that's funny. Oh, my face is hurting.
Best Christmas pageant ever. This weekend. Here's your clip. Thanks, guys.
That was spectacular.
Always great to be here. Thanks, man.
So
Thanks for making it so easy. This was the last one of the day.
Oh, beautiful. All right, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like, and leave a comment below. Click that button.
Or I'll cut off my finger.